Green flag, back in the air. Brendan Maddox, Adam Buzzio, the whole field chomping at the bit. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. The Lucky Performance Overtime rules reminding you that if we get back around to the white flag, this race is official. Buzzio with a push from Dyer. Maddox with a push from Hughes. Zach, I think we're going to get there.
I think we will. Coming back around, Buzzio leads the group. Through the tri-oval we go. No caution. Sam Dyer looks to the outside. Free wide for the race lead. White flag is in the air, presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sam Dyer is all by himself on the top line, Andrew. There is nothing that he can do. He's going to start dropping back, and Brendan Maddox is out in front by himself. I do not want to have a gap that big.
We'll see how this one works out. Maddox moves up, now moves down. That checks up the bottom side. Here comes Buzzio. Here comes Camper. Here comes Plord, all on the top side of the racetrack. Maddox now going to try and fight back on the bottom with a push from Buzzio's teammate. That's Hughes down low, and Hughes isn't pushing the lead. Now he gets there from a push from Mason Houseman to the stripe. It's going to be a drag race. Adam Buzzio, Dakota Camper. He's going to look down to the inside, and Camper is going to shove alongside of the 5. Dakota Camper, maybe, no. Buzzio's got to win this season.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.
It's time to finally cap off Season 5 of the BRB Sundance Pro Series, and we're doing so in sunny South Florida at the track best suited for it, Homestead, Miami. 165 laps stand ahead of these drivers, and 5 are safely in contention to win it all. But 2 favorites stand ahead of the rest, Adam Buzzio and Zach Hall. It's league owner versus newcomer at the top, with long shots trying to spoil their fun. Welcome to Pitstop TV in the virtual Homestead, Florida. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Superback alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Tonight's coverage from Miami for the Sundance Pizza 250 is brought to you by Sundance Pizza, by the BRB Racing League, and by all series partners. It's finally time, Super. We are here for the season finale. 18 races. This is the final of them. It all comes down to this. Homestead Miami Speedway. We know it. We love it. It is a true oval, as Zach Murders would say if he was here. It has the road course in the infield, but don't worry about any of that. These guys are going oval racing tonight, and this is always a spectacular racetrack.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see what's going to happen here today. It's going to start off in the sunset, and you really have to look out because that sun's going to be coming right in their eyes out of turn 4 into turn 1. It's going to be really exciting to see what could happen into turn 1.
Every restart, turn 1 going to be a busy place, turn 3 as well. That's where these runs are going to manifest and end up turning into 2, 3, 4 wide battles down into the corner. It's going to be an exciting evening here. At least 25 cars set to go racing for 165 revolutions around the Homestead Miami Speedway this evening. Let's take a look first, though, at the BRB Pro Series point standings. Of course, Adam Buzzio on top, as we talked about a little bit at the back end of Phoenix last week. And look at that, Zach Hall just 1 point back. I mean, this is literally as tied as it can be without being tied. 1 point separating the top 2. Then Brendan Maddox, a bit of a long shot, 15 back. A stage gets him right back in it, though, if he can win the stage. And if Buzzio and Hall get little to no points, then Borbell and Johnny Wood Jr., they've got to be absolutely perfect if they want to win this thing this evening. It's going to come down to stage points in the early going and certainly some strategy from there on. I'm excited. We're going to be doing a little bit of math in the background, but we'll do our best to get everybody aware of kind of where things stand when it's appropriate. We don't want to do too much and throw too much information at you throughout the evening, but it's going to be an evening of number crunching to see who's going to actually have the advantage. So with that in mind, we can get ready to go ahead and talk to our 3 drivers, as is customary now with the MXWraps.com pre-race show, and let's actually go ahead and get into the iRacing.com sim. It looks fantastic here at Homestead, Miami this evening. The first of our drivers for the MX Wraps pre-race show, as you see the standings there on the left side of your screen for practice, well, it's the longest of the shots that we'll be talking to. Stephen Borbell has 22 points to make up. He's certainly got his work cut out for him. I think he's capable of it. But we'll have to wait and see if he can actually get it done. It's going to take a lot of work out of driver number 2 this evening. Let's bring Stephen Borbell in. And Stephen, this is going to be one of the, I think, most stressful races of your iRacing tenure. 22 points out of the points lead. You're chasing your teammate for the championship with a couple of other long shots and, well, with a Zach Hall mixed in. What's the approach here tonight?
To be honest, I think the approach is really just do what I can to help Adam. I know realistically, I don't think I had much of a chance being 22 points back. And I know how much this means to Adam, and to have the slow start to the season he had and to come on hot late. Basically, whatever I can do to help him get there, respectfully, will be the plan.
Yeah, so you've pretty much already written this off, judging from what you just said. So what are you looking forward for next season in particular, right? We're all focused on this race, but there's still a whole nother season after this.
Yeah, I mean, just basically from a league standpoint and admin standpoint, it's to continue the growth that we've had with the group of guys, the main core group of guys that we still have here. From the beginning of the season, the first half of the season, to where we're at in the second half of the season, it's night and day difference. So I think a real focus of that is to end on a real high note here as a league and go into next season like nothing, like we didn't have a gap in between, and we can go into it clean and racing competitive like we have the second half, and it's been great. So I want to give a big shout out to all the guys that are still here, racing in and week out, and putting on great shows. I think it's been the most fun season overall in BRB personally, and I'm just really proud of where we've gotten to.
And Steven, we've got, stats on the screen as we typically do for these interviews. 41 Speedway starts. That's just over half of your total starts in the league. With 80 starts, 41 is literally just over half. In those 41 starts, 4 wins, 27 top 10s. I know you're kind of writing this off of the championship, but anything can happen, right? And your stats back you up. I think you've got a good chance to at least be in the mix. I'm pretty sure you've won here before. I think I've got a memory of that somewhere in the memory bank. But, as I know you say you want to help Adam out, but if it comes down to it for the stage, will you take a risk to try and get the stage win? Will you maybe take a gamble on strategy late in the race to try and put yourself up front just in case it all works out?
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm racing it as I'm a driver myself. I'm not going to let Adam have anything, I think is a clear distinction to make. I mean, if I can go out and win this race and run up front all race, I'm going to do that. Miami's one of my favorite tracks. I think I won here season 1, and I don't know, maybe again, but just statistically and just personally, I really enjoy this track. It just usually fits my driving style. I don't know about on this car. I didn't get to practice at all this week or even yesterday, for that matter. So we'll kind of see where we're at during the first stage and just play it out and really go for the long run. I don't really care about stage points too much personally, but if it works out that I'm up there and I can stay up there, I'll try to and just go out and try to win, but not necessarily win a championship in mind.
Well, it's good to talk to you as always. You had those couple of wins earlier in the season. Best of luck. We'll see how this goes.
I appreciate it, guys, and thank you all for all your tremendous work that you've done this season. We've absolutely loved having you guys. You're always welcome back, as you know, but thank you.
Always a pleasure to be here. That's Steven Vorbel in car number 2 this evening. We'll move on down, and the next driver we've got to go talk to is, he's somebody who came onto this scene by storm. No, that's not a setup for Jackson Storm, but he kind of feels like he's fitting in that villain role. He jumped in the series at Charlotte. That was race 5 of the season, and has just been fantastic ever since. There's been a couple of missteps, a couple of races where maybe he hasn't scored max points, but Zach Hall has truly been one of the best drivers all season. Obviously, the first 4 races, Zach, you weren't here, but since Charlotte, it's been car 32 always in the mix. Can you, obviously you can, right? You can go up there and contend tonight. So I guess what's the approach? For you specifically, you're just throwing 1 point out. A stage could completely shift that advantage. It could completely bury you in a hole. How do you approach these 165 laps?
Yeah, my biggest thing is score every point possible. So I believe you get a point for pole position. So start off here at qualifying. Hopefully I can put together one of my better laps this season and maybe hopefully put myself in the front of the field. And I think that would help also because you get a lap lead, so you can get some more bonus points. But that stage is like literally everything in my mind right now. I look back to last week, not taking tires, losing 5 points there, like what could have been, but that's the risk you take with taking tires. So I think I'm going to have a big decision on my hands when it comes down to that certain point. We'll have to see how it pans out. If it stays green like we've had from really the majority of the season, these tracks, it'll be pretty interesting to see the decisions made when you come down the pit road. So I'm ready for everything. I'm prepared, and I think this is going to be a really great battle.
Yeah, and so you mentioned, if you start in the front, right, you're going to try and just charge for that advantage. I want to know, what do you plan, right, if something goes wrong? Like, if you start in the middle of the pack, how aggressive are you going to be to try and get up front for that stage?
If I'm in the middle of the pack, in the middle of the pack qualifying, I probably won't be too aggressive early. You'll see me pick them off as I go. That's kind of my style. Is if I'm in the lead, I can kind of open up and drive a little harder in my opinion sometimes, just because you have that advantage of clean air. But I do know also, like, if I get back in the mix, I can't just get overworked up and say I'm gonna go through them in 1 lap. No, you got to really be patient. I've learned that through the years of iRacing and doing all these races that patience pays off. So I think if I do get in the mix in the back in the middle of the field, if I'm smart, 50 laps is a long stage. I should be able to, with the pace I think I've shown at these tracks this season, I think I should have a chance to get right back into it.
I know your stats versus some of the guys you're up against tonight are kind of skewed. They've been here for a long time. We don't have as much of a sample size for you, but they're still pretty strong. 7.8 average finish, I think, speaks truly to how good you've been on these speedways, just like the 7.2 average finish for Stephen Borbell, and some pretty good accolades across the board for the other competitors. Is that on your mind at all, kind of how the season has gone, or is this kind of like wipe the slate clean? You're just focused on this race, forget anything that's happened earlier on in the season?
Yeah, I think I wiped the slate clean. Anything can happen here at Homestead. I mean, it could be a late race restart. I could make another mistake on pit road. So I need to be focused on myself, hitting my marks, and just doing what I think I can do out here. I really think that I am one of the drivers that can kind of put the blinders on and just focus on what I got to do. So no huge pressure. Just go out and have fun. And, man, I'm racing some really incredible drivers too. And, if Buzzio ends up winning it, I'm kind of rooting for him personally. Like, if I don't win it, I want that guy to win it because he's such a good guy. So I would love to see that, but also would love to see myself as a champion too here. I never expected it.
And just a quick question, I probably should have asked Steven this, but what would it mean to you, in a few short words, what would it mean to you to get this championship this evening? Championships are rare. I feel like wins are somewhat easy to come by in league racing on iRacing, but championships are pretty hard to actually make happen.
They are few and far between. I've always been the driver, especially back in my past. I always was the driver that won races but never won the championship. I always was that guy that got to the final one, because a lot of these races are just decided by one race, and it just wasn't a good track for me. I just didn't have a good night, and it bit me a few times. So I know how when you get these championships, you got to cherish them, and I will cherish this one just as much as any. I'd kind of been in a pretty big drought when it comes to some of my other leagues when it comes to racing. So it's just great to have fun and have that chance, So the opportunity's there. I'm going to relish it, and hopefully tonight maybe I'll be one of the guys that you're talking to at the end. That's pretty exciting.
Hey, best of luck. It's going to be a wild 165 laps this evening, and may the best man win.
Thank you, Andrew.
Zach Hall finally back with us at a pre-race show this evening and has a great chance to go for this championship. But, I mean, I got to feel like, Adam, as we bring you in this evening, I got to feel like you certainly obviously have the advantage. Momentum seems to be on your side. We'll get to power rankings in a few. I can tell you the number looks good for you. You have the 1 point advantage. So how do you take stage one and work that to your favor to get a little farther ahead into the back end of this race?
Oh, man. First of all, before I forget, thank you guys so much for all the great coverage this season. As far as the race goes, man, I don't have a lot of confidence tonight. I don't like Homestead very much. I think we're just going to have to, try to do what Hall does or do the opposite of what Hall does. You know what I mean? Depending on kind of how the race plays out. Obviously, the strategy for stage one is maximize points. We have a 1 point buffer, which isn't anything. You know what I mean? If Hall gets the pole, which you very well may do, that ties us up, and so we're going to have to keep it close in the stages, and we're going to have to keep it close in the finish to even have a chance. So super excited to be in this position at the end of the season. We had kind of a rough start to it, and it's been a long couple weeks for me personally, but just looking forward to trying to have a good race, and I think we're going to need some good luck tonight too, so hopefully we can get some.
Yeah, and we saw, last race at Phoenix, how important those fresh tires were. So I want to know what you're thinking going into this race, right? Obviously, it's not Phoenix, but do you think that maybe pitting for fresh tires could be worth it if we come down to 10, 15 to go on the stage?
Yeah, I mean, if it presents the opportunity to do that, we definitely will. Well, you know what? I can't even say that. Like I said, it really just depends on what Paul is doing. If we can't... excuse me, guys. I apologize.
Well, it looks like they are sorting out some picture-taking opportunities. That's okay.
No, but real quick, as far as the stage goes, if the opportunity presents itself to get tires, we're going to keep an eye on Hall, see what he does. It worked out for us last week. Homestead's definitely a little bit of a different track, but tires are definitely going to matter here. We had a practice race last night, and they definitely made a big difference. So,
Well, I'll keep this next question quick for you. What would it mean to you to win this championship? I know it's been a tumultuous, and sometimes grandiose season for you. I know you finally got the win recently, and I know it coincided with the addition to your family, but there's also been some rough spots, and I think it's been an up and down, certainly just from the passenger seat here, kind of observing. But what would it mean to you specifically to finally close this one out and win this championship?
Honestly, it sounds corny, but it would mean the world, man. We've had like you said, we've had kind of a tumultuous, personal couple weeks and long season, but it would mean a lot. I put a lot of work into this league, and there's a lot of really good drivers here. So to be able to beat them straight up and in a heads-up race, heads-up season, it would mean a lot. So fingers crossed, and we're gonna see what we can get done tonight.
We'll give you a moment to get back with these guys and figure out the picture-taking stuff, but best of luck, Adam. It's good to talk to you.
Thank you guys so much.
And so, these guys are set to go for 250 miles just about this evening. And there's the mass burnout down the front straightaway. Oh my goodness, that is something. I didn't expect this. This was not known by the broadcast crew. This is cool.
It's like watching like a bunch of like birds like migrating, just like a single like hive mind.
Everybody burning it down in the front stretch. This is cool.
It's like the best way I can describe it.
Well, tonight, of course, the focus obviously is on the championship battle, but it's also a moment of reflection, an opportunity to look back on the season that has been, season number 5, and I'm glad we had this opportunity for these guys to all celebrate a little bit, have a little bit of fun on the front stretch here, and burn it down. That was cool. Well, as we continue on in our pre-race festivities, of course, we got qualifying coming up, but we do have other things to get to, if you will, and I try to always talk about the schedule in pre-race, and you see there's not really much to talk about at this point. The schedule's wrapped up. We're here for the final race of the season this evening at Miami on March the 3rd. But what we can talk about is the schedule coming up for these guys when they go back racing later this year in April. Not a whole lot of downtime for this off-season. They'll kick things off at Daytona, continue on through Dover and New Hampshire, a couple of northeastern tracks, then head all the way down to Mexico City, stay down south in Texas, and then over to Florida for the Daytona Road Course. Then it's up to the Midwest, Indianapolis and Iowa, and then it's back down to North Carolina for a quick trip to Rockingham, out to the Midwest one more time for Kansas, back over to Virginia for the Martinsville Speedway at race number 11 in June, and then as the summer continues, on out to Japan for the Oval at Motegi. Then it's back up to the Midwest in Michigan. Bristol chimes in to kick the chase off. It'll be Sonoma to continue on the second road course, I guess the third road course actually of the season, the only road course in the chase, and then Talladega in its usual spot, Atlanta, Georgia there for race 17, and then of course California to cap things off as you see there for race number 18. So no trip to Miami next season. They will head to California instead for the finale. That's a good look at the season 6 schedule coming up for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. We do also want to take, of course, a look at the power rankings coming into this evening. We can do so here, and I mentioned that the numbers look good for Zach Hall and Adam Buzzio, and there they are, way ahead of the rest. They have been on a run lately and have looked really, really good, and this power rankings, I think, really shows you that. The numbers have really gone up for those guys. The 32 and 5 in control, I feel like, of the season lately, but then everybody right behind is very close. Johnny Wood Jr. just 0.3 ahead of Brennan Maddox, who's tied with Scott Fritz, who's 0.3 ahead of Steven Borbell, and just a 1.5 ahead of Richard Wolfsburg. Those guys are all very close, very tight. And then Evan Patinko is now in the top 10 in power rankings. How cool is that? Good to see him making it in before the final race of the season. And so, the final power rankings graphic of season number 5. I think it's cool to see where everybody has moved throughout the course of the season and what the top 10 now is here as we get ready for the final race of the season.
I mean, yeah, it's just really amazing. I mean, everyone has done so great in this series. It's just really nice to see like just a performance from everybody. It's been, I haven't obviously been here for that many races, but every race I've watched has been amazing, and I've had an absolute joy being here.
We'll take a quick look at qualifying here briefly and then start on Best in Show. Dustin Stallings goes second quick here in qualifying. Zach Maddox to third. So Maverick Motorsports looking fast. Josh Parent able to go fifth. He's still in the chase and still going for points positions, but written out of it for the title as Gray Walker in a new paint scheme will go sixth quick. Rusty Rafferty seventh. Carl Pooler looks like in ninth. Dakota Bly, new paint scheme there for the number 8 car. He is 13th, quick of 13 that have qualified thus far. Stephen Borbell down the back stretch in his paint scheme that he's run the last few weeks, the Performance Food Group number 2. He is trying to turn his first lap around the racetrack. Jason Bottoms has gone up to 7th quick. So, as qualifying continues on, Richard Wolfsfer, by the way, up to 13th spot. Scott Fritz now into 6th. He's technically just barely in contention as of the moment, but I don't think he's going to have a great shot at the championship this evening. Meanwhile, there's Zach Hall. Some might consider him to be the favorite, maybe, as he goes 9th, lap number 1. Coulter Clark into the top 3 here in qualifying. Jordan White will go 11th quick, lap number 1. And then Evan Patinko, newly on the top 10 in the power rankings, he goes 20th. And his lap will not look too good for car 81. There's Scott Fritz. He goes 3rd quick now. And really, big attention is turning to Stephen Borbell, who did not get a lap in there, it looks like, for whatever reason. And then Adam Buzzio, who's got that new Mac paint scheme. And he is trying to put it somewhere north on the scoring pylon. It is 5th quick for Zach Hall. He will not get the pole point. Brendan Maddox could narrow up the gap up to the championship lead for himself if he holds on to this pole. Can Buzzio get it here late? Across the line, Buzzio's first lap, it's a 33.1. That's 13th quick. Not too spectacular. Borbell into the top 10. His run is done, and Buzzio will have one more shot here. Well, we'll of course be notified if he goes faster here, Super, but I gotta ask, who you got for Best in Show today?
Probably gonna have to go. Well, we're taking a look right at him. Adam Buzzio. That scheme just looks so good. The mix of the silver and the black, really just illuminating itself in this like sunset. It's everything you want a scheme to be, and I'm personally a huge fan of it.
He goes 11th quick. The pole will go then to Brendan Maddox, and that narrows the gap up to first by just one singular marker, but it's a little bit in the bank there for Brendan Maddox. So we will add the number 5 to the list on Best in Show. Let's see if we can get a chance to look at some others really quick before we go green so I can get my nominations in. Do you already know your second nomination?
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier in the pre-race, but I mean, that number 8 scheme, it's purple, which, you know, I told you actually, purple schemes, they're either really good or they're really bad. There's no in between. I feel like this one looks pretty good. It's also combined with what I described as Perry the Platypus Teal. And I don't know why, but it's just those two colors really make me feel good. I like looking at those colors, the way that the scheme is just combined. Hopefully we can get a view of it some point in the race, but it's just a beauty.
There it is. It's a little bit dark. He's got like a matte finish on there. So it'll be a little hard to see when the lights go on and the sun goes down, but I do enjoy the look here for driver number 8, and the 8 certainly looks good as well. So there's the number 8 of Dakota Bly. Before we go through the grid, I do want to go ahead and nominate, well, one driver. Gavin Rogers was out there. I don't know if he's racing, actually, so I'll skip him. If Gavin runs, his paint scheme, in my opinion, takes the cake. It's a really fantastic Sundance pizza car. I'm going to go ahead and nominate then the 18. I mean, Gray Walker sometimes randomly will bring out these fantastic Red Bull paint schemes, and this is no different. Red Bull Iced, this is fantastic. That's everything a Red Bull paint scheme should be, in my opinion, as far as, you know, going to the specific flavors. I really enjoy that. Then moving on down the list, I had a couple in mind, and I'm refreshing my memory, so bear with me. I'm trying to remember who the heck I had in mind. You know, it's one of those brain fart moments. I had somebody in mind, and I have forgotten. Oh, Caden Perkins. I can't believe I couldn't think of that. Storm Seeker cars, I'm a sucker for them. This is no different. So we will get that vote going in 2 seconds, and I will run down through the starting grid this evening as Brendan Maddox brings us off of the pit lane and onto the racetrack. So on pole, you can see driver 23 leading us to the green. He's got his teammate, Dustin Stallings, and Season 4 champion over his right shoulder. Starting third this evening, Scott Fritz. Fourth, Coulter Clark. Back in fifth place, Jordan White in the number 83, alongside Zach Hall, who's just 1 point out of the championship lead. Zach Maddox will start from 7th, Johnny Wood Jr. from 8th, and to complete your top 10, the 2 and 22, Stephen Borbell and Josh Parrott. I'll keep going to keep this quick. Adam Buzzio, Gray Walker in row 6, then Jason Bottoms and Rusty Rafferty on down through Anthony DeSeo in 15th, Carl Pooler in 16th. 17th gives us Caden Perkins, 18th Richard Walsifer, 19th Robert Moyer Jr., and 20th Cole Lewis. 6 more on the grid, William Maple Jr., Dakota Bly, Evan Batinko, Gavin Rogers if he runs, I don't think he is, and then Sam Dyer and Cody Dorsey. Off of turn number 4, the iRacing.com safety car turns this over to the one, the only, Brendan Maddox. He's got a chance to win it this evening. Can he get it done? Lap 1 happens now. We're racing at the Sundance Pizza 250 at Miami. And down the back straightaway, lap number 1 still looks like a formation lap, just a whole lot faster down to turn number 2, or 3 rather.
Yeah, you're going to really see a lot of these drivers spread out. It's a very wide track. It's got progressive banking, which means that the top of it is a little bit more banked than that bottom part. So you're going to see, you can take a look at that right now, Dustin Stallings and Coulter Clark getting one absolute huge run.
Coulter Clark getting moving on the top side. Zach Hall down low. He makes an advance up to 3rd, looking for 2nd as he goes toe-to-toe there with Dustin Stallings. One car had to start from the pits. That was Evan Batinko. He is 16 seconds behind the leaders, but look at them work through turns 3 and 4. Oh my, what a shot. One car slow on the inside. That's Jordan White. You know what this is? This is a penalty from last week. We saw him stop late in the race. This is a penalty that has been handed down by race control for stopping on the racetrack late last week at Phoenix. And he has to come in for I don't think it's a stop and go. Yeah, I think it's just a drive through and then go back out on the racetrack. So it just kind of hurts him here in the early goings, but he'll be okay and be able to get back in the race as the race goes on.
Yeah, it's Coulter Clark. He's already made his way up into 2nd. So we got 3 wide for 3rd place. Fritz on that outside. He's going to try to make a run. Stallings in the middle. Now going to 2 wide. Stallings on the inside. Fritz on the outside. Trying to get clear, but Stallings is going to send it, trying to hold on to 3rd.
Scott Fritz, the first car up top. Johnny Wood Jr. behind him. They'll be teammates next season over at 6'5 Motorsports, and Fritz going to look low on Coulter Clark now. This will be for position number 2 as they chase Brendan Maddox. And then off of turn number 4, lap 4 will go in the books. We didn't get a chance to do it on the pace lap there. Things happen quickly. Watch out, Stallings. He's in the wall. Massive impact there for Dustin Stallings, and he's done for the season.
What an unfortunate way to go out. Went off the nose of another driver. Did not look intentional. I think might have just had to check up a little bit. Yeah, he just got loose coming out of the corner, I believe. Went across the nose. Just unfortunate.
Cole Lewis has also taken his car to the pit lane, it seems, or maybe out of the race entirely. Unsure as to what happened to the 52 car here, but here's a look at Cole Lewis first, and then we'll get to Dustin Stallings. Been a lot of fun to see Cole get better and better as seasons have gone by now in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. And, I mean, he's way back of really any of the action up front. I think he just dropped out of the session. And then Dustin Stallings here off of turn 4. That's the back end of it. We got to go back further. Here's the run off of turn 4. He just randomly got loose. That's really odd.
He might have gotten a little tap from behind. I can't tell. But yeah, it just looks like he just got loose. Maybe a little bit of help from that 32.
That is really, really strange.
I mean, there was definitely a slight tap, at least is what it looked like, but that does not look like it's enough to send a guy around.
He hit the wall really, really hard. You see the left front down on the ground. I want to see the in-car view here. We'll see it. I mean, that is just really, really strange. I don't want to assume anything, but that looks really, really odd.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe just got loose and overcorrected it. That's my best guess as to what just happened.
That is an oddity for sure, but Dustin Stallings out of this race early. I'm sure he'll try to get the car fixed, at least as fixed as he can, but I don't expect him back on track for a while, if at all, here this evening. What I was trying to get to as that all happened was this evening's Whiplash SimCam's race details, of course, and there you see 165 laps, as previously mentioned there in the pre-race show, 247.5 miles. The stage tonight will end on lap number 50, the completion thereof. And that's pretty typical for these guys on a speedway like this. We will see them need to make one stop for fuel, maybe tires, if they want them. I think, if I'm in the driver's seat tonight, especially if I'm going for the championship, I'm going to take tires. I want to be at the front for that stage. I know these guys, they weren't very bullish on going for the stage points, but I really, truly believe that stage points are the key to this championship this evening, no matter what position you're in this battle. To get that leg up on your competition tonight is going to be extremely important. So watch out for the stage, of course, as this race goes on. And then, weather conditions, boy, this is already a little bit interesting because we have the clouds overhead and some fog and stuff building, but you see 80 degrees on track, 77 in the air, but that humidity, 94%, despite the clear skies. That's why we're seeing some particles out there in the atmosphere. We need Caden Perkins to send some instruments, maybe a weather balloon up into the sky to get us some readings, but yeah, you can see it's just kind of hazy out there, but I guess that makes sense in some ways for this area. But that's a look at your MX Wraps race weather. We'll get an opportunity to get back racing here in just a moment. The iRacing.com safety car back down to the relative safety of pit lane. Into the restart zone. Brendan Maddox back in control. Green flag once again at Miami. And back down the backstretch, first side-by-side, Zach Maddox and Josh Parent. Parent will be departing Whiplash Racing after this season to head over to Spirit Racing. He'll be taking the number 22 with him. He's into Zach Maddox, and that's going to turn to 14. He goes all the way down to the wall. Great save. They go 4 wide now down to turn number 1. Parent gets hit there by Perkins. Everybody's going to hang on to it, though. Boy, that was scary. Cross up now for the second spot as Cole Lewis is back on the racetrack. Coulter Clark to the inside, Johnny Wood Jr. outside. Johnny Wood's a long shot tonight, but in contention for the championship. And by the way, I mentioned earlier that it'd be 1 extra point to Maddox for the pole. He's now 14 back as this race gets going this evening. Not 21, as I might have said earlier, but it is a 22-point gap for both Johnny Wood Jr. and Stephen Borbell. So keep that in mind, 22 points. It's essentially 22 spots on the racetrack unless they get stage points. Then each stage point within the top 10 is 1 point per position. So 1 point for 10th, 10 for winning the stage. Keep those numbers in mind as the night goes on. Already, Maddox with the advantage. He leads here. If the stage ended now, certainly he would get those 10 points. But it's a long ways to go as Hall has put 3 wide, almost 4 here. These guys are busy tonight, Super.
Yeah, it's just another incident of a driver getting loose off of turn 4. Seen it 3 times so far. I don't know if it's that sun getting in their eyes, but I think that's going to be a really big really, really important spot. As out of turn 2, you see there Rafferty. I think coming out of these corners, I think we're going to see a whole lot of chaos.
Rusty Rafferty has really turned up the notch lately. He's become a top 10 competitor week in, week out the last few weeks. It's been very cool to see as these guys complete lap number 12. Well, we were asked out in the YouTube chat, and we will happily oblige, as Carl Pooler gets a nudge there from Stephen Borbell. We'll happily oblige to show the paint schemes one more time for the MX Raps Best in Show contest, and there it is. There's one of them, the Mac number 5 for Adam Buzzio. And I noticed in previous, actually, this is the same base, I believe from Sim Rap Market, but I could be mistaken, but the same base as what is on the 16 of Robert Moyer Jr. Same base paint scheme. And the colors are also very similar. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but hey, we've nominated the 16 earlier in the season. I don't feel so bad about the 5 getting up there. And the 5's got the chrome and stuff too, so it looks good on driver number 5 this evening. We also nominated the 18 of Gray Walker. There he is. Gray running the Red Bull Iced number 18. I love there's different reflection levels across the paint scheme, and the bowls of the Red Bull logo there on the hood, super. They're metallic if you can't tell. That's cool.
It is really funny to see a blue Red Bull scheme.
Well, light blue, I think specifically.
Well, yeah, light blue. I don't know. I just kind of a little funny because they're called Red Bull.
Yeah, their main colors are, well, I guess the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, but a lot of blue and yellow in their design language for sure. There's Dakota Bly, though, in his number 8 this evening that we've nominated for Best in Show, the Quantum number 8. I just really like the purple and blue. You were the one that nominated it, though, and I think that's a good call. I think it looks really, really good out there, and I was concerned about it not looking as good when the lights came on and the sun went down, but I think it still looks fantastic out there. So Dakota Bly with a new paint scheme on the track, and then Caden Perkins in the 19. He's back up for Best in Show in the Storm Seeker number 19.
Yeah, so unfortunately it's a little hard to see it with all that haze, but you can still get a really good view of it. You can see all the amazing colors on that side and on that front.
And so that's a look at the 4 paint schemes up for vote in today's MX Raps Best in Show contest. Battle for first. It's starting to pick up. Coulter Clark trying to reel in the 23 of Brendan Maddox. Coulter's been fantastic late in the season here on these speedways. Something has started clicking for him, and I mean, he was a threat to win back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and certainly I thought at one point he was going to win. Ended up not being able to do so, but still had a great run that day. Here he is, back up front on a speedway, as he chases down, not quite a teammate, but a Toyota affiliate there in Brendan Maddox. And then there's all this hubbub back here. I mean, this is rush hour traffic for these guys.
Yeah, I did just notice what I think is really important. Zach Hall is 1 point behind in the championship. We see him in 7th. Adam Buzzio, the man who's leading the championship, in 4th. I think that could be a really big talking point when we get to the stage end. Absolutely.
That's everything that I was getting at earlier with the points these guys have, the margins coming into tonight, and every point that they can get for their stage positions. So Adam Buzzio currently running here in position 4. This would be 7 points added onto his total. So he would gain, 3 points over Zach Hall. It would be a 4-point margin. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's 4 positions on the racetrack. Obviously, bonuses can affect it a little bit too, but that would be a huge bonus for Adam to get here early in the race.
Yeah, and what I did just notice, Brendan Maddox is 15 points behind, and he's currently leading the stage. He's leading it. If he wins this stage, I think he could be I think we could have some serious conversations about him winning this championship.
Absolutely. That was the point I had earlier as well, that if he can go out there and win this stage, he's a threat through and through later on in the race. He's kind of the closest to the long shots for sure. Not kind of. I mean, he is the closest to the long shots. A stage win could knock his deficit down as low as 4 points, since he has the bonus for winning the pole. Obviously, these guys are going to try and get their own stage points, Adam and Zach, but so far, it's at least Brendan's doing everything he can, right? And I think that's a point that's understated sometimes in racing. We talk about what other guys are doing sometimes versus what you're doing, but at the end of the day, you just got to try and control what you can control. Control the 4 tires that are connected to your steering wheel and throttle, and that's really all you can focus on. And Brendan Maddox is doing that. Trouble in the back, though. Richard Walsifer is down to the pit lane. It might not be trouble. It may be a strategy call.
I did see him a couple laps ago on that inside, flip the apron a little bit and get loose.
He's taking tires. This looks to me like a strategy call to just offset. Yeah, it's 2 and fuel. I just want to make sure that he didn't have like any contact or anything coming to the pit lane. Here's a look at it. Racing with Stephen Borbell, Carl Pooler, Josh Parent, a whole lot of chasers around. Then down here in 3 and 4, right in front of Josh Parent, just peels off, heads to the pit lane.
The bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out for him.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Word for word. If we get a caution, I don't know. It could go a couple of different ways for him, but we'll give him some time to see if it's going to work out. We're nearly halfway through stage 1. And you see these guys have strung out a bit. Maddox out front, Clark in second, then Johnny Wood Jr. in third, about a second back. Adam Buzzio, Gray Walker actually just got passed by Zach Hall here to turn number 1. Walker on the outside of the racetrack, Hall down low. They now switch. And there goes the 18 back to the inside here for turn number 3.
Yeah, Hall really trying to shove him down as low as he can, take away as much of that lane as possible, try and restrict his movement out of the corner. And you see it right there. He just has a much better exit. He'll just extend the car.
So Zach Hall up to 5th, now just 1 spot behind Adam Buzzio. So Buzzio would still gain a point over Hall, but, I mean, 1 point. Yes, it means something, just not nearly as much as it could have been when Hall was a couple of points back. But Rusty Rafferty, I mentioned him earlier, he's in the top 10 still as Richard Wolfsburg tries to pull through this field. And this traffic is what's going to hurt him most. Yes, he's got tires, so he should be able to pull back through most of the field, but this traffic holding him up, taking lanes away in front of him, making him check up here and there, that's what's going to hurt Richard Wolsifer. All the time that he could gain, he won't, right? Because he's going to have to check up at times. That said, he can also get some draft on the straightaways, so it's hard to say exactly how much he will actually be hurt by this, but it certainly adds a lot more volatility to the strategy. It's not as much of a lock for him to actually gain a whole bunch of time on these guys.
Yeah, it's just a really interesting strategy call. I mean, hitting this early on into the stage, right? And I feel like even if he does stay out when the stage comes and everyone else would come in after him, I mean, he'd be at a massive tire disadvantage. It's a really, I can't wrap my head around the strategy. He's probably got a plan. I would really like to see what he's thinking. I'd really like to see it pay out.
Adam Buzzio starting to work on 3rd place, Johnny Wood Jr. Here's a run out of driver number 5. Johnny goes low, going to protect the inside lane. And they'll fan out here in turns 1 and 2. Buzzio goes high, working just above that upper seam, comes down a little bit on exit, and will have the pass made over Johnny Wood Jr. So move Adam up to 8 points here, and that's also going to hurt Brendan Maddox. That's now only 2 points that he'd be gaining over Adam Buzzio for this stage. Oh, Rafferty back into the top 10 there. He had a moment off of turn 4. Able to save it. Not sure what happened, but the Miss Rachel special keeps moving. That's always good. He's now going to go racing with Zach Maddox in the American Airlines number 14. Listening on board there with Rusty Rafferty. 21 laps to go in stage number 1. Coulter Clark still right on the back bumper of Brendan Maddox as they run down the backstretch. These two very, very close so far throughout the entirety of this opening stage. That's a cool view. Oh, Coulter hard in the wall there. He's been a lot of fun to watch, though, this chase. He's been a threat to win several times. Able to grab that win back at, oh gosh, where was it? I know he's got Michigan. That's where it was. Straight up duel between he and Stephen Borbell. And Clark came out on top of that one. Set himself up nicely for the rest of the chase. It kind of went sour from there, but he's still been a lot of fun to watch, and I think put together a pretty solid season here for season number 5 of this BRB Sundance Pro Series. Adam Buzzio up to 3rd, passing Johnny Wood Jr., Zach Hall just behind, and I think these guys have all been kind of on notice of how good Zach has been this season. I'm not sure anybody expected it, though, to be 1 point back going into the final race of Season 5. And I know there is certainly some concern that he missed 4 races, but it just shows how good he's been. Right, he was able to get himself into the chase, point his way up to the top of the field, and we've got a pit stop. Going to shake things up a little bit here. The 2 car coming in early, not too early, not as early as Richard Wolsifer, but early here for Stephen Borbell. I do see Elizabeth out in the YouTube chat. I do believe, we'll check on it here in a second, I do believe Jason qualified in or near the top 10. Let's check on that. Jason Bottoms out there this evening. Currently 13th, started 13th, so near the top 10. I know he was in it for a moment, but I think a few drivers bumped him out. So he started 13th this evening, currently running right where he started this race. Has been as low as 17th, but back up a few spots ahead of guys like Caden Perkins, William Maple, and even Anthony Teseo. So the pit stop there from Borbell, it is 2 tires back on the racetrack here for car number 2. And let's see where, well, he's going to come out way behind Richard Wolsifer. So I know we were questioning the choice of when to stop for Wolsifer. In the short term, it looks like it could be a win, but he's also now got 11 laps on these tires, super, and Borbell just left the pit lane. So is it really going to work for Richard? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a good strategy, right? If everyone has to come in, might cycles, we have a hitter, Evan Zatinko, he's been good coming in. But I feel like, I don't really know. I think he's going to get it, right? If we go green for the rest of the stage and a couple more other guys pit, I think he'll be able to at least stay ahead of those guys. As you see, he's going to go right by Coulter Clark on that inside. I think...
Yeah. Coulter can't be happy about this. I mean, he's trying to race Brendan Maddox for the stage win, and Richard kind of poking his nose in. I mean, everybody's got to run their race right now, but I'd imagine Coulter's not exactly pleased.
I think if it all goes green, we're going to see that 56 machine like stay ahead. But I think if a caution comes out, then everything he just worked for is going to be gone. It's going to be really interesting.
There we go, pit stops. Buzzio down to the pit lane. He's going to bring in Johnny Wood Jr. They're going to bring Rusty Rafferty, and I'd imagine a few more might come in here. No, it might just be those 3, actually. Regardless, those are 3 significant pitters. They were all in the play for the win last week at Phoenix, and certainly, I think, Adam Buzzio might have the most attention around him this evening as he comes in with this points lead. Down and away, fuel only for driver number 5 for Johnny Wood Jr. It looks like 2 tires. He's waiting on fuel. He had to take a little more.
I mean, he's gonna get out at least ahead of Rafferty.
So Wolsifer is approaching Adam Buzzio. Adam gonna get back on the racetrack here in turn number 2. Wolsifer is that bright blue car behind the white and green car. So for Buzzio, this is gonna work out really nicely. Granted, he did take no tires. He's ahead of the 56 for now. Can he hang on? He is the top driver that has pitted in this run so far. Can he hang on?
Yeah, plus, you know, I think that lack of traffic is really going to help him pull away. I think that by the time that, like, I think by the time that beautiful 56 machine is going to catch up to him, at that point it's not going to matter. We're going to be out of laps because he's just been getting held up by this traffic. Even, well, I say traffic, but it's the leader of the race.
Anthony Teseo also pitted that last lap around. And these guys have gone by Cole Lewis recently to put him a 6th lap down. Pit stop, Zach Hall. This is important. Of course, he's the threat to take the championship away from Adam Buzzio. And it's good to see Julie, by the way, in the YouTube chat. Julie, we see you. One of the most supportive wives in sim racing, that's for sure. And her efforts are certainly appreciated by Adam and all that he does. I know it's been an interesting month for them. They were able to celebrate and whatnot as they close on a house. That's pretty cool for them. But Hall down and away. Fuel. Did he take tire? I don't recall seeing the jack go up, but
no, he didn't take tires.
Yeah, I'm gaslighting myself because it was 3 seconds longer than Adam's stop. But
oh wait, no, he did take tires. I'm tripping.
Well, he comes out well behind Buzzio and Wolsifer. Buzzio now here just ahead of Wolsifer, and just about all of the major players have now pitted or are currently pitting. As Brennan Maddox leaves the pit lane, there he goes, along with the 54 of Coulter Clark. They have gone for fuel only.
Yeah, a little aggressive coming out of the pits. You saw him right there. Just car sliding a little bit.
Gotta be, though. Gotta get all that you can. Mm-hmm. And there you see Buzzio, Wolsifer in the background. They're close, but it's still going to be the 23 and 54 out front.
They are just so, they've been like, Coulter has been staring at his bumper for the past 42 laps. You know he is rearing to make a move.
Some more stops there for more Toyotas. Gray Walker, Carl Pooler, Zach Maddox, and Pooler. Uh-oh, hang on to it, Carl. Oh my goodness, down through the grass, watch out.
A couple sparks flying.
Now Robert Boyer Jr. is currently your leader. He has not yet pitted. That was 8 laps to go last time by the stripe. He did pit earlier. So I gotta wonder, is he trying to stretch this fuel out somehow? I don't think he can make it, but he's still on the racetrack, so you gotta wonder.
Hey, never say never, alright?
He's still on the racetrack along with Jason Bottoms and Jordan White. Here comes Moyer. Jason Bottoms will continue and take over the lead. Jordan White stays out. Scott Fritz stays out. Cody Dorsey, Dakota Bly, and Sam Dyer also still on the racetrack. But Jason Bottoms grabbing himself a lap lead that time by the stripe in the Goat Fuel Chevrolet. Good to see that for Jason.
Yeah.
As far as this stage win goes, though, Brendan Maddox still ahead of Coulter Clark. Buzzio and Wolsifer are going to be racing soon. They are slated to come out around 3rd and 4th. Yeah, you see Hall back there in 5th.
I don't know. I think this is going to be huge. I think that this this stage is going to shake everything up. We're really going to have to do a lot of calculating in our heads after this.
I don't think it's going to do quite as much as we kind of maybe selfishly want it to, just for the sake of entertainment. But it is certainly going to help Brendan Maddox, and certainly will also be a nice addition to his virtual trophy cabinet, I suppose. Grabbing himself a stage win here. Maybe not a trophy cabinet, but his accolades at least. It's going to help him out there and certainly keep him ahead of the 2 and 75 and other cars like that. By the way, Johnny Wood Jr. currently in 13th, and I don't know exactly where he's going to cycle out in the stage. I think he'll be a low top 10 position, somewhere around 8th. But Johnny currently racing with Gray Walker and Josh Parent, as they're about equidistant right now. But Stephen Borbell is in very imminent danger of not placing within the top 10 here for stage 1. He is currently 16th on the racetrack, and with just 5 laps to go and pit stops looming for some guys that have stayed out to this point, it's hard to say exactly where he's going to finish, as there's Jason Bottoms in the pit lane and Adam Buzzio. I know there's a lot going on. Adam Buzzio just lost spots to Zach Hall and Richard Wolsifer, so it was a gamble for Buzzio to take no tires. Hall, let's say he took 2, and he has sailed on by. He's gone. That's 2 spots currently. Now 1. Buzzio gets back ahead of the 56 car. That's now 1 spot that would put them even.
Yeah, that would be huge. At that point, it's just a race to the finish, right? At least when you have even a 1-point gap, you feel like slightly safe. Don't get me wrong, 1-point gap still isn't much, but I would much rather. Oh, someone hit the wall. Was that Coulter?
Clark.
Hard lick into the wall.
5 cars still trying to stretch this out to the end of the stage. One of them being Scott Fritz. I think these guys are committed at this point. They must be trying to run it out. There'll be 2 laps to go here in stage 1 this time by.
They look like they're crawling around, just trying to save as much fuel as they can.
They're still 8 seconds ahead of Brendan Maddox, and that gap will not come down in just 2 laps. Jordan White takes the lead away. They are coasting into the corners.
You gotta respect the guts to go for it. I mean, yeah, look at that.
Watch the RPMs. Watch the dash here into turn 3. Clutch in. That's why it's down to 1100 RPMs, 1180. That was clutching for a long time.
Wow.
White flag here for the stage. Can Jordan White and Scott Fritz hang on? Maddox is only up to 6th. I don't think he's going to catch any of these guys on pace, just if they run out of fuel. This is really, really large for the championship as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, these guys staying out, they're just throwing a huge wrench into all these drivers' plans. I did not expect to have 5 drivers trying to stay out.
But they're going to make it work. Drag race with low fuel now. Jordan White, is he going to do it? Yes! Jordan White grabs himself a stage win here in Season 5. How about that for the young Jamaican sensation? Wow. All aboard the Jordan train. That's cool.
It's got to feel great after that.
Jordan's been really putting together some accolades lately on iRacing. He went and ran a race for Whiplash Racing and the All-American Racing Network a couple of weeks ago, grabbed a win in that race. I know he's been grabbing wins in other leagues he's been running.
And you can see, even under caution, he's off the gas.
Well, they're letting the pace car catch up and go by, but yeah, certainly the clutch had to be in there. These guys saving all they can, so Jordan White will pick back up and get back behind the pace car now. Now, as far as points go, Jordan White, of course, will grab 10, but that's not really the focus here. Brendan Maddox is going to grab himself 5 points here for the stage win. And that is a huge slap in the face to what it could have been. It'll be 4 points for Zach Hall, and he's actually going to go 2 spots ahead of Adam Buzzio here at the stage end. That is 1 point ahead of the standings. So Zach Hall now 1 point ahead of Adam Buzzio as they run.
Yeah, we were talking about it too. What can tires get you? We just saw it right there. That 1 point, right? It might not seem like a lot, right? But let me tell you, that is a huge, huge confidence booster for Zach Hall here.
The car is exiting the pit lane. Some guys going fuel only, I imagine, but a lot of the fuel grabbing tires. That also makes sense. As it'll be a land rush off the pit lane. Buzzio trying to get ahead of the 32. It's not going to happen. He gets stopped up behind Zach Hall. So that insult to injury there for Adam Buzzio. What we can do, though, for Adam is go ahead and award him tonight's MX Wraps Best in Show Vote win, as he will take it at 55% over Gray Walker with 27%. So Adam at least won something tonight. We'll see if he's able to win the race here in a little bit and see if he's able to grab a championship as well. But at least starting the evening off with the Best in Show vote, that's not too bad. We'll go ahead and grab driver number 83, though, and talk to our Stage 1 winner here before we go back green flag racing. That is, of course, Jordan White. And Super, it only feels fitting to bring him in and have him talk to you.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. Speaking of the man, how you doing, Jordan?
I'm all right.
So I gotta know, how does the stage win feel, right? Do you think that you're gonna be able to take this and really take a charge, try and hopefully get a top 10 here, top 5, maybe even a win?
I mean, we had to fuel save a lot there for it. I was kind of keeping pace with Scott Fritz, but I feel like we have a lot of speed in this race car. I think Brendan Maddox for the strategy and stuff. Just wanted to test it and it worked, so you might see it again here in stage 2.
It would be very exciting to see. I really hope, well, I might be a little biased because I've known you for so long, but I personally hope to see you have a great race here today.
Thank you. Maybe the curse might end.
The curse of the 83, trying to put that to bed. Congratulations on the stage win, Jordan.
Thank you.
Jordan White with a stage win here to get Miami kicked off this evening. We'll get him back up to his teammates. And we will get stage number 2 underway here off of turn number 4. Let's go to the fan cam for a little bit. A fan cam restart never hurt nobody. Stage 2 begins now. Jordan White with the advantage, a great restart for the 83 car. Scott Fritz down to the inside of Brendan Maddox. And Zach Hall pokes his nose down low. He's going for it as well. 3 wide. Coulter Clark up top.
Very aggressive move, trying to get second. Oh, big slow off the corner is Scott Fritz. 3 wide for third now. Oh, someone hit the wall.
All spread across these many lanes here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Everybody trying to find the line that works for them. 3 Toyotas out front, 3 Chevrolets right behind, and then a couple of Fords in Adam Buzzio and Josh Parent. Jason Bottoms in the top 10 here early in stage 2, and you see the Hornet's Nest back here. Everybody trying to find their place. Perkins feeds a door there to Anthony Teseo. And that puts Borbell down low. He did not have a great stage 1, did not earn stage points. It's too early to say for sure, but I think we can almost write the 2 in 75 out of this championship. It's a long shot still for the 23, but it's certainly still possible.
Yeah, and speaking of that 23, currently right behind Jordan White. He's trying to find a way around. He's got Coulter breathing down his neck.
The clutch was in there.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing I like to see from a young driver, finding his way on iRacing, trying to maximize every moment here of the run. No clutch in here in turn 1, but you heard it there in turn 3. The car was silent, the revs were low. Let's see what he does here down to turn 3 this time. Clutch in. So he's not doing it in 1, I think, because the radius of turns 1 and 2 is a little bit wider. You can carry more speed on that end of the racetrack. Turn 3 a little bit tighter, and literally requires you to slow down a little bit more. So I think that's why he's putting the clutch in 3 and 4 to save as the motor winds down, but he's not doing it in 1 and 2. Very interesting.
Yeah, you also heard it there too. He went into 3. He was in the clutch for a while. I think that could be something we should be looking out for.
Jordan White, Brendan Maddox, Coulter Clark, your top 3. To go looking through the field just a little bit, there's a battle here between teammates in Anthony Teseo and Evan Patinko. Patinko newly into the top 10 in the power rankings this week. Not a great first stage for him as he runs down here in the 14th spot. Caden Perkins to his inside. But this will be a nice send-off, I think, for Evan's paint scheme that he's run throughout the chase here in season number 5. This has been a nod to the 2013 paint scheme for Jeff Gordon in the NASCAR Cup Series, where he was added as a 13th driver into the chase that season. It was kind of a similar situation for Evan this season. When drivers started making it known they couldn't necessarily commit to the full chase, Evan was the first one added. So he was kind of the 13th driver in the chase this season. That, of course, where that paint scheme then came into play for Evan. He's had a couple of great runs to cap the season off. No win yet. He's still winless in all of his 80-some-odd starts here in the series. But he's certainly looking for that first one at any point in time. And Daytona is just around the corner for these guys, so who knows?
Yeah, as you also see, right in the back there, I believe that was Wood really ripping that high lane. I think Yeah, well, I saw it in 3 and 4. It doesn't look like he's doing it now.
Now, most of the field down low now, and I think that's become the meta on iRacing at Homestead. It seems like drivers like the bottom of it better. I think it's to save tires, frankly. I've never been great at running the top side here. I like doing it. I'm just never very good at it, as there you go. On 3 and 4, Wood goes back up top, running the boards, and there's a crash to Seo and Perkins back there.
Not moving. And there we go.
Rolling.
All right.
Seo with a bit of damage on that 15 car. Not a whole lot, honestly. It seems like it was glancing blows, perhaps, for these two, but let's see. Anthony DeSeo in the 15 car. This is going to be the run down to turn number 3, and eventually the incident for these two. DeSeo got the apron, came up, got another 19, and that is that.
I feel like both of them got away with a lot there. That could have been a much, much worse incident.
Absolutely. 100% could have.
Yeah,
Look
just
at
that tire just dips down to the apron, and at that point the car is just committed to going up. Nothing, really just nothing that could have been changed after that.
And so we have an opportunity once again for some pit stops. Not everybody going to partake, though. Several stay out. The first car in is Jordan White, the race leader. He brings Brendan Maddox and so many more. Frankly, I get the track position call. I think you want to come in for fuel here. With what we saw there in stage 1 and how low the revs are getting in the middle of the quarter, how long they're out of the gas here tonight, I think you want the fuel. But I'm curious if we can maybe pick the brain of a driver or two. Let's go for Johnny Wood Jr. perhaps, since he was running the boards, one of the more aggressive lines around the racetrack. Let's dial him up and see what he's thinking as he stays out with teammate Richard Wolsifer, rather. And Johnny opting to stay out here under this caution after we saw the fuel mileage play in stage 1. I'm curious as to why you and Richard both have stayed out here when we see the fuel strategy and we see a bunch of guys coming to top off.
Yeah, we kind of discussed it. It wouldn't break. We still got to pit again, and it wouldn't help to short or get more fuel now because you still got to take 4 tires on the next run, so you kind of losing track position. But if it stays green, it'll be interesting. If a caution comes out about mixed way, you know, while we have a green flag pit stops, that'll be wild. But yeah, we just trying something to win.
And of course, it's a long shot for you and Steven both tied with 22 points back of the championship lead. And of course, that's changed a bit now that they've gotten some stage points. I don't recall I think you were right on the edge of stage points there in stage 1. Regardless, you know, does kind of being written out of it change anything? Are you a little more willing to go for a risky strategy call later on if it requires it?
No, I still want to win this race. Win.
Fair enough. Well, Johnny, I know it's not exactly looking great in the points standings right now, but it's been a great season for you. A handful of wins, and you're right, you never know. It's been a successful season, I think, for Car 75. Best of luck.
Yep, appreciate it. It's been fun.
Johnny Wood Jr. with a strong run already this evening, and certainly through all of season number 5. This field is about to go back green flag racing here, Super. Richard Wolser will be at the helm for this restart. You see the field stacking up, being reminded certainly by race control Rev to tighten up, pack up. And here we go. On to the front straightaway, green flag back out. Restart zone there for Richard Wolsifer. One in the wall that was white. We're racing onto turn 1. You saw it at turn 1, Brendan Maddox, attic to basement. He went all the way down there to the white line into turn number 1. He's been able to jump up to 9th position. Here's the run now to turn 3. Haul down low, side by side with Adam Buzzio.
This could be a very important moment in the championship. As we see Wood also going to try and go with Buzzio. If Buzzio Lead Wood in between them. That'd be huge for him, right? Remember, Hall is 1 point ahead from that stage, so we're going to need to see a lot from Buzzio, and hopefully, for him at least, for Hall to fall.
Rewind for the race lead. They absorb the 56. Buzzio goes high. Has the lead for a second there. I might have the run off the corner. Hall went down low. 4 wide now down the front straightaway at Homestead, Miami. They're still 4 wide, but for second as Buzzio gets clear for the lead. They're still 3 wide for third. And Maddox runs the fastest lap. He's right behind him.
Not what Hall wanted at all. Buzzio really starting to pull away. He's now fallen down to 5th place. We're going to see if he can try and catch back up.
Coulter Clark comes into all of this. He pitted as well. I think I called out Maddox having tires. He does not. Checking the pit stop times, they do not have tires. Most of those guys that pitted under that last caution, most of those drivers taking fuel only to make sure they were topped up to go for a longer run. So these guys still on the same strategy as far as tires go, just different fuel levels. But that could also help turn the car, and a little extra rear weight never hurt nobody. Can help turn the car in the corner.
Yeah, really just try and swing it as we're going to see Wood again, going to try hanging around that outside, try and get a run, shoot off. Just going to get enough speed to not get cleared. Oh, wait, nope, never mind.
This might be the closest overall race for the entire field on an intermediate all season long.
I don't know, Phoenix was pretty close.
Yeah, but that's not an intermediate. I mean, this is like a pack of these guys right now. Fritz down to the inside. He's looking for the lead. He's got it for a moment. Johnny Wood back up top here in 3 and 4. Keep watching him here through the corners. He's trying something. At the line, though, Buzzio going to have the nose back ahead. I believe there's a bonus for most laps led. I will check on that briefly. As Sam Dyer goes fastest that time. How about that out of car 35? Fritz now has the lead outright. He gets clear of car number 5. And Johnny looks low that time.
Trying to find a way around Buzzio, just trying to shut him down. Looking really good as they come out of 4, side by side for what is 4th place. Coulter Clark really eager to make a move. You see him setting it down on that inside. Trying just to find anything.
Can confirm, by the way, 1 bonus point for pole, 1 bonus point for leading a lap, 1 bonus point for leading the most laps. That Mac number 5 down low. Adam Buzzio trying to get back up to the 48. That was close off of turn 4. Oh, contact there. Clark and Wood. Coulter Clark dives, though, into turn number 1. They're still going for it up here.
Could have been a horrible incident right in front of almost the entire pack. All of them bunched up so much, it's almost like they're pack racing at Daytona here.
Right, that's what I'm saying. These guys are maybe as close as they've been on an intermediate all season long. This is a complete wide open race right now between all these guys. Anybody could get the lead and get the advantage here at this point in time. Brendan Maddox still trying to find his way back into all of this. He is 6th. Racing now 5th with Wolfsper on his right door. There's Clark up top, and Maddox will drop back down to 6th place as he tries to find a way back in line there ahead of Zach Hall. Hall running back in 7th. I wonder, if I'm Hall here, I'm sitting back and letting these guys do their battle. I'm saving my tires.
That's a good point. We saw when they went 4 wide coming out of 4 a few laps ago, we saw him fall back. Ever since then, he's been hanging around this 5th, 6th, 7th position. I think he's trying to save tires, maybe try to save fuel a little bit. I don't think we're going to see a big push until it comes pit stop time.
Almost contact there out of Maddox and Wolfsper. You say you don't think you're going to see a push out of Hall, and then he starts going forward on the top side.
Yeah, I notice every time I say something, I immediately get disproven. Like, it's every time.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna stop talking.
Welcome to commentary. That's exactly how it goes. More often than not.
Opposite of one thing.
Well, Zach Hall still trying to get going here on the top side. He's got Gray Walker behind. Gray, a non-chase driver this season. But right next to Gray Walker, you'll find Josh Parent, who is in the chase here in season number 5. Behind them, you'll find Jordan White, also in the chase. And then the kind of final couple of chasers in the field tonight, Evan Patinko down in 15th, Carl Pooler in 16th, also Steven Borbell there in 12th, as he's kind of having an off night so far. He mentioned earlier in his previous interview he didn't get much practice. I wonder if that's part of what's going on for driver number 2 right now, as the easier race leaders back down to 1 and 2. I don't really know exactly when these guys can go till now as far as their fuel mileage. We don't know exactly how far Scott Fritz and Jordan White could have gone there earlier, and they were already at 40-some laps, I believe.
Couldn't have been much longer. I think max maybe around 55 if you really stretch it.
I think 50, depending on cautions, might be the limit. So, I mean, these guys typically run about 40-ish laps to a tank. I think 36, 38 on a straight-up green flag run. Great battles throughout the field, though.
Yep.
In fact, Jordan White getting up ahead of Richard Wolfsfer. I think Jordan might have saved some stuff, and he's starting to come through the field a little bit.
Trying to make a pass on Hall here. Peeking down the inside, gonna back out of it maybe. Now he's looking a little high. We've seen that outside lane work really well. The slingshot these drivers have been able to get, as he's just gonna file back in.
And look at Maddox. He's now up to 3rd spot, getting ahead of Coulter Clark. Buzzio now looks low. He wants that spot back, and of course he's got Zach Hall over his right shoulder here to turn 3. Hall has the points lead right now.
Yeah, I think something might have happened to Coulter. A little bit slow there, and it allowed Buzzio to try to peek down the inside. God, look at these two. They are so close. This is for the championship, pretty much. I mean, every single spot is going to count when there's a 1-point gap between these two.
Yeah, we've got to stay paying attention to Brendan Maddox. He's about 12 or 13 back right now of these guys, and he's got a bunch of laps led. And actually, to that point of laps led and bonuses or such, we can check laps led here for the field. Hall doesn't have any yet. Buzzio has 4. Maddox has the most. It's an extra point to Maddox's name. That's an accolade that the 5 car would like to add to his name this evening. An extra bonus point could go a long ways for Adam here tonight. So technically, I guess they're tied right now, the 5 and 32, because Buzzio's got the bonus point for leading a lap. Hall got the extra stage points. So I think technically they're able to be considered tied right now.
Yeah, because Hall's 1 point ahead.
Would be for the stage, right? And Buzzio has a lap led, so that's a point. So that negates that 1-point gap.
So, yeah. So right now, with Hall being in 7th, Buzzio would have a 2-point lead. Or a 3-point. The math has never been my strong suit.
3-point, yes. Yes, if the race ended now, Buzzio would take the championship about 3 points, I believe, over Zach Hall. So as we watch on from the fan cams here on lap number 81, we're just about halfway here this evening. I want to thank all of you for watching, not just tonight, but through all of season number 5. This has been one of the best yet, if not the best yet, for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. I mean, I know we've been here for now 3.5 seasons, and it just keeps getting better and better. I know there were some concerns with some of the quality of racing back in Season 4. Certainly, that season had a lot of cautions. But, man, here in Season 5, it's been fantastic. A lot of great racing, a lot more green flag races we're seeing tonight. Certainly still healthy helpings of drama here and there, just like we're having now with Buzzio to the inside of Maddox. The 5 car trying to breathe another breath of life back into this. He gets ahead. That'll be for 3rd. Going for 2nd, though.
It's not what Hall wants to see in the slightest. Buzzio has decided it is time to push. Maybe we could see him somewhat getting close to that fuel window. I think maybe start seeing drivers come in about 10, 10-ish laps, I think we could see, in the next 10 laps. I think Buzzio has decided it's go time. Maybe start pushing a little bit.
So for the guys that are short on fuel, so doing some math. I'm trying to think of how to like properly explain this, I guess. Doing some quick math, right? We're 80 laps away from the end of the race, roughly. These guys we know can at least go 40, even close to 50 if they really save. I don't know if they can get that without cautions later in the stage. They can hit 50. I think they need a couple of cautions for that, but you know, you'd want to get to probably lap 120 or so. That's 45 away from the end, 120. I don't think anybody is going to be able to get that far on this tank. So it does open up some options. You know, some of these guys have been on this tank of fuel for 33 laps, some for 22. That's about a 10 lap difference. I don't think anybody can make it a one stop from here. But boy, with a caution, things could certainly change, and obviously if we end up seeing, well, we could see some weird strategy calls. These guys kind of have the Pandora's box open, I think, right now. They could do some funky stuff and try to make some different calls we wouldn't typically see. And that's kind of what I was getting at too with some of these guys earlier in their earlier interviews. You know, will you go for it? If you have the opportunity to take an abnormal strategy call, will you take that chance? A lot of guys not really seeming like they would, but I don't know. As the night goes on, I think that might be an option for some of these guys. Start getting creative with the strategy. Try to do something.
Yeah, we've already seen they're getting creative with like their lines, right? We've seen tons of experimenting. Like previously, it was just like Johnny Wood Jr. going up high. Now we see, like at least right there, a couple of drivers at least poking up into that middle lane. A few of them poking up into that high lane, depending on what corner it is. And I feel like if they're willing to get creative with their lines, they're more than willing to get creative with their strategies.
On board here with Adam Buzzio. Right now, we can treat it. There we go. I'll get the words out. Treat it as a straight-up race for the time being. We can talk about scenarios all day long, but right now, straight-up race between the 5 and 32. And Buzzio's looking good. Obviously, a few spots ahead of Hall right now. That's too early to say anything too definitive right now. Still, as we've said, I mean, 75 laps to go almost, or just over.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to know anything until the checkered flag drops, all right? We're just going to be able to make our best guess. And anything could happen in this race. There's still plenty of laps to go, as you just said.
Just riding on board here with Adam Buzzio, trying to chase down the 48 for the race lead. There is a pit stop, it seems, towards the back. Jason Bottoms hitting the pit lane here. And so this is a bit early, but this could be the beginning of some of these alternate strategies coming out. Bottoms is in. Who knows? And briefly, for just a moment, Maddox took second away. He's racing Buzzio here for the spot.
They're really close. I mean, Maddox is trying to do everything he can for this championship. Technically, right, not likely, but he's trying to do everything he can.
Never stop fighting. Stay in as long as you can. Keep going for it all night long.
Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
There you go. Buzzio goes high. Maddox gets the spot. Crossover here. Fantastic racing between these two, but it's all for second right now on the track. And Hall, he's starting to move forward. Hall is now up just a couple of spots behind Buzzio again. Looks like Hall has gotten by the 54 there, Coulter Clark. The 2 is starting to come through the field. That is Stephen Borbell. He is up to 7th. And there you see that blue and yellow 32. And pit stops now. Buzzio and Wood coming in. Lap 92. This is about, what, 70 away from the end of the race, 73.
Yeah, it's going to be a two-stopper. Right, we're going to see. It's going to be this, and then probably one more at around, as you said, that like 120, 125 mark. I think a lot of drivers are just going to come in. We might see tires.
Yeah, I think certainly
Yeah,
you've got to take 4 in fuel here. Later, maybe you try to get creative, depending on how cautions and such fall, but I think even on a later stop right now, 4 in fuel, as it's 4 in fuel down and away for Adam Buzzio. Should be the same here for Fritz, who comes in. Maddox, Hall, Clark, Borbell, and Maddox all stay out. It is Brendan over Zach, by the way, between the two Maddoxes. Brendan leads, Zach in 5th.
2 in the top 5. That's pretty good.
And so for Scott Fritz, right sides go up. Should be a 4-tire call for him, and I think everybody else here at the front of the field. I can't imagine you would take 2 or none right now, as Hall's going to come in.
I mean, yeah, he's got to cover off Buzzio.
Right. And so what do we mean by that? Well, Buzzio got new tires on the car sooner, so he's going to go back to running faster laps a bit sooner, so he'll be able to make up time there. So in order to cover that up and negate some of the gains that Buzzio would otherwise see, Zach Hall comes in a little bit sooner, maybe when he wanted to, maybe not. But he comes in to cover that off, get tires on shortly after the 5-car pits. That way, the 5 doesn't get so many laps out there while the 32 runs slower laps on old tires. Now, there's benefits and drawbacks certainly to every strategy. Hall technically now has a tire advantage over Buzzio for later in this run and later in this race. But for now, the 5 is going to clear the 32 by a couple of seconds here, as he's already done so. As we take a look here at your race leader, Brendan Maddox.
Yeah, a little bit of gap from him as well. We got, I think it was Borbell back there in the wall. Jourdain shot down to the inside. He's going to try and go past the other Maddox.
Josh Parent hitting the pit lane. He could always throw a wrench into all of this, and boy, it looks like they're getting racing back here. Sam Dyer down low, Scott Fritz out of control. He just hangs on to it. These are your leaders that pitted and already got tires in the car. Buzzio goes high, Fritz stuck behind Rafferty and Walker, 4 wide off the corner. Johnny Wood trying to get by. That's going to be close. Gray Walker shuts the door. That's going to help the 32 of Hall.
Huge momentum loss also for that 75. You know, you feel like you're flying, and then a car comes in front of you and just really snaps you out of that rhythm.
For a moment, that helped the 32. It really actually brought him back into this fight. So it's 4 cars in a battle for the top 4 spots since pitting. That's Buzzio, Fritz, Wood, and Hall. All together there on the bottom lane. 1 Ford, 3 Chevrolets. You see the battle ahead. Zach Maddox in the middle of Coulter Clark and Stephen Borbell as they continue lapping. They have not yet pitted. Sam Dyer pitted that lap.
Yeah, I noticed Jourdain, he's also out there saving, right? He won the stage off of saving. You think he's going to try it again?
I would certainly expect him to try and go as long as he can, and I think there's a benefit to that. While these guys can't eliminate a stop right now on this strategy, I think Jourdain certainly can make it a shorter stop. And we see that in road course racing a lot, particularly in the North American Racing League on Thursday nights. Just trying to make the stop as short as possible, save as much fuel as you can, go as long as you can, and take as short of a stop as possible. I think that's what Jourdain is trying to do here. He's not going to eliminate a stop. He's got to pit in the next 5 to 6 laps. But Maddox, White, the other Maddox, Clark, I think they're all trying to go ahead and do that, get closer. They will pit here about 60 away from the end of the race. So it's about a half run they've got left to go there. So they can try and, 2 tires, no tires, they can shake it up a little bit later on.
Yeah, also something I have noticed is that at least over the past few laps, White has gained plenty of time on Brendan Maddox, as we're going to see some of these lapped cars try and get around a couple drivers.
Wow! He was in the binders there, trying not to hit the 75 of Johnny Wood Jr. That was close.
Yeah, you can just see they're so aggressive. Everyone wants everything.
And Hall now to the inside of Zach Maddox. Zach still runs in third. But the top few are spaced out now as Zach Hall puts pressure now on the 5 of Adam Buzzio. This, of course, for the championship. They are effectively tied. So unless Zach Hall leads a lap, it's a matter of who finishes higher between these two.
What's the tiebreaker? Is it just whoever finishes higher?
You know, I don't know. I would think wins, in which case Hall has that wrapped up. He's got 5 wins this season. Now, that's not even a contest if it goes to a tiebreaker of wins. There you see, though, Wood back to the inside of Zach Hall. Maddox still on the racetrack. Never mind. They have pitted. Maddox, White. I mean, all these guys. All the Toyotas, basically. Most of the Toyotas, at least. All on this strategy. They all pit here in unison.
You see him in the back on the left-hand side.
And there they go. Maddox trying to hang on to that advantage over Jordan White. He will do so for now. Scott Fritz has taken the lead. Hall has now gotten ahead of the 5 of Buzzio. And remember, the 32 has the tire advantage. It's not much, but it's an advantage.
Hey, an advantage is an advantage, all right?
Absolutely. And I think in this kind of a race, you cling to whatever advantage you can find. By the way, earlier, Kayla Rondeau was in the YouTube chat, and she mentioned that she liked the Red Bull paint scheme for Gray Walker, and knew that if there was a Rockstar paint scheme out there, I would vote for it. I would. And I just cracked my own here this evening. So if that's what you heard there, well, I am energizing myself for the back 60 laps of this race and this season.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Well, it's not exactly hydrating, but it's energizing, I'll give it that.
Well, it's got water in it.
Yes, yeah, that's fair. This is an important moment right here, by the way. An important battle. Scott Fritz leading, Zach Hall trying to take it away. Maddox isn't up here, he's on that alternate strategy, so Maddox is actually buried down in 7th, 5 seconds behind these guys. If Hall gets to the lead, that breaks the current tie between Hall and Buzzio. Even just for 1 lap, that's a bonus point.
And you know, like he wants it bad. You can see trying to peek a little bit to the inside. Now going to let himself go a little high. Fritz will have to run off the corner. Hall's going to have the draft. We could see him potentially set up a move out of 4 into turn 1 next time by. He wants that lap bad.
Look at that, last lap for these two, separated by 5/1000ths of a second. That time around, Hall a little bit slower. Obviously it's a heads-up race, but I was just curious what the graphic would show us. Really interesting how this is working out, and I think attention needs to be specifically on this 32 right now. If he gets to the lead, that is a point in his favor. That would break the tie. Obviously, negating what they would currently earn for finishing where they are. That would break the tie for Hall. Even if they finish as they are right now, Hall will win the championship, I believe. Yeah, and of course, everything we say, I should stress this, everything we say about these points is unofficial. We'll let the league tabulate it at night's end, and we'll try to stay live as long as we can to make sure we get there. I'm sure they'll be able to confirm at least the champion with us pretty quickly, but you know, treat this as unofficial. This is us doing some mental math, taking some notes. Certainly educated guesses, but take it with a grain of salt all night long.
I think we're probably not the only ones doing mental math. I know Hall here. They've probably been counting points all race long.
Jordan White, fastest lap. 32.792. He runs in 8th right now with Steven Borbell just ahead. I want to cover those other battles, but right now I think this is the most important battle on the racetrack. Most important scene right now. Does the 32 get to the race lead? Obviously, if there's a crash, we'll get the replay. Right now, I think this carries a little bit more weight.
Yeah, of course. Hey, this is for the champion.
And this is one of the closest championship fights that I can recall. Certainly, I think it's the closest we've seen in BRB in our tenure with the league. You know, typically, go back to season 2. Who won it then? Oh gosh, that was Mason Houseman. So, I believe Houseman won it with a race to go, both times, or close to it. I'm pretty sure Stallings did the same. I'm pretty sure we basically knew who the champion would be each time we signed on for the finale, the last 3 seasons. But tonight, it's straight up. I mean, it right now comes down to who finishes better.
As there's Royce ripping the high lane. Been trying to find anything. He's been stuck by Buzzio for who knows how long. Just trying to find a different line, anything to get past him.
And Adam certainly does not want that right now. Adam wants the mirror to be as clear as possible. Let him do his thing, let him race.
He probably wants that called a crash as well.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't hurt. I don't know that he's going to be wishing for that specifically, but I don't know that Buzzio would mind seeing it, I suppose, as there's a look at your top 4 lap times the last time around. It'll update here across the stripe. Buzzio a little bit faster, yeah. He's pulling back up. These guys all really even, though. And I mean, I think the eye test will certainly tell you that, but it's worth checking, seeing what the telemetry shows us.
I've also noticed Brendan Maddox, he's thick right now. He was 5 seconds back when we highlighted him. He's now 3. So he is slightly gaining. I don't know how much those other guys are gaining, but I can tell you at least he is.
And he is approaching Josh Parent, who runs in 5th. That's about the highest the 22 has been all night. It's been kind of an off night for him as Maddox goes low. This is for that 5th position. And I haven't really known how to approach this yet. I was thinking about it earlier, but of course, Pit Stop TV, so myself and Zach Murtis, we field a team within the BRB Sundance Pro Series. And leading that charge this season, and even last season, has been Josh Parent. He has been kind of the signature driver the last couple of seasons in that number 22. Well, it was actually the 90 last season, the 22 this season. He'll be departing Whiplash Racing and heading out to Spirit Racing for season number 6. And I want to take this opportunity to thank each of the drivers of Whiplash Racing this season and seasons past. Tonight, though, we have Josh Parent in attendance in the 22. There he is. We also have Evan Patinko down in the 17th spot. There's Evan. And Anthony Teseo was a late season addition after the dissolvement of Meatball Motorsports. And it still says Meatball there, but Anthony Teseo brought into the fold at Whiplash Racing. And now a part of the crew. Part of the crew with Whiplash Racing here for Season 5. Battle, though, for the race lead. It's not relenting. Hall back to the inside.
This is it.
A lot of these drivers do have the broadcast in the background while they're racing. So even if they can't do the math, they might be able to know, based on what we're saying, kind of how the math looks. And I wonder if Hall is listening in tonight, and I wonder if he knows now how important that lead truly is for him. That would put him ahead of Buzzio, at least per our unofficial mathematics, if you will. This, again, I think this is the most important pass that could be made all night long if that 32 can pass the 48. And I also wonder then, Super, if it might be worth it for Hall to try and pit early or stay out to try and get a lap led through strategy, because if he pits early, he can get the tires on and try to cycle into the lead and get a lap led that way. If he stays out longer, he can try and wait for everybody to pit. I don't know that he'll be able to do that now because we saw the Toyotas go long. I don't think he can really do that now, but It's worth thinking about.
All he's got to do is go longer than these three by him. Unless he gets caught up by Maddox.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, good point. Unless Maddox gets there and Maddox is closing in. So you got a good point there. And we're just about into the fuel window, actually. We're 47 away in that time by the stripe. We're very, very close.
Maddox did end up going extra long. Got a pretty big advantage on the tires, and we see he's been gaining a lot of time recently. So maybe going long isn't the worst idea for him.
The problem is, I think by the time Maddox catches them, his tires will more or less plateau, and he won't have such an advantage when he gets there. So he is closing in. He's just inside now of 2 seconds back to the race leader. We can actually go ahead and give me a moment to set this up. We can compare lap times between Fritz and Maddox. That might be interesting to look at right here. So there it is. Last lap, Fritz a 33.51, for Maddox a 33.44. Not much of a gain. It's a gain, just not that much at this point. He's starting to stall out. So yes, he's still got the tire advantage, but not by quite as much. You know, the tires are wearing out. They're going to plateau eventually. That time he gained 2/10. That was better.
I don't know. It's something, but I think. Well, the thing about Hall is that he's either going to want to be the first one in or the last one in out of these four.
Absolutely.
He just, yeah. I mean, if you're not the first one in, you have to be. I think that's because he needs that lap pretty much to break the tie. I feel like if you pit in the middle, you're not gonna get that advantage of staying out after everything.
Or that advantage of just about put his bumper there on the left rear of Fritz. Fritz is kind of starting to check him up, actually. Buzzio's here. And now you see the desperation. Zach Hall putting his nose in the wind, trying to get that race lead. Not going to happen just yet.
Gonna lose a little bit of ground. I don't know. I think, God, it is tight between these top four. And Maddox, by the way, 1.2 behind.
He's very close.
Could we see him catch up before everyone starts to pit?
I know he would like that. That would prove that his strategy can work out here. 42 laps to go, this time by the flag stand. These guys are very, very close to the pits opening up for what might be the final pit stops of BRB season number 5. While these guys keep racing, a massive thank you for one of the final times here this season to Sundance Pizza, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, KC Athletics, Performance Food Group, RevSimShop.com, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MXWraps.com. I think Sundance, Rev Sim Shop, and MX Wraps certainly kind of the biggest players here to keep this league running as it is and make this league what it is. These guys have done a fantastic job the last couple of years while we've been with them. From back in the summer of 2024 now to the spring of 2026. Growing this league, working on this league, refining this league week in, week out. And the fruits of their labor, boy, is it cool to see. 40 laps to go in the season, this time by the flag stand. Again, a big thank you to all of these partners. Donna, hopefully you're still watching out there. Our Arizona family with Sundance Pizza. Glad to have them on board this season. Taking over the naming rights as well of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. And it is so worth it. So cool to promote Sundance Pizza, talk about Sundance Pizza. By the way, I'm a pizza fanatic. I love pizza. It's like once a week we're having pizza at the very least. But I still got to get out there to Sundance at some point in time. Pit window that was opened up here, Super. Anything can happen now. Maddox has caught these guys.
I mean, Hall is putting a whole lot of pressure on Fritz. He might not even have to pit early or stay out at this rate. I think he could just get the lead lap now.
Here's Maddox.
Fritz has been in the lead for so long. He might take that most of the lap lead.
Well, we can check it here. Laps led on the ticker, 49 for Fritz. Yeah, he has taken it. This lap, actually, he will take it away. You were on it. How about that? Fritz now has led 50 laps versus Maddox's 49. So that is the shift of the most laps led now over to Scott Fritz. That was money. Go buy, well, I don't know how old you are, I guess, Super, but go buy yourself a lottery ticket if you can.
Well, I mean, you say that, but every other prediction so far has been wrong. So, I mean, a broken clock is right like twice a day. Right?
A blind nut finds a squirrel from time to time, that's for sure.
Yep.
51 now led for Scott Fritz, so as we're starting to see some pit stops around the racetrack. There's Anthony Teseo leaving the pit lane. Bottoms has also made his final stop.
Maddox into fourth for the time being. Gonna get clear of Wood. Wood trying.
Blocking here.
Trying to fight.
Maddox,
Really
I think, knows what's at
the
stake. And yeah, he missed the bottom there. Shoved it off into the corner so hard he missed the bottom, but he still comes out on top in that little fight. Probably a great line of cars back here. We just haven't really been able to zero in on them because of what's at stake ahead. But Parent, Corbell, Clark, and White all in the chase this season. These four all together working to figure out exactly where they're all going to finish in the season standings this time around. And Jordan White making the pass here potentially on Coulter Clark. Maddox though on Buzzio sends it there in turn 3. And Buzzio's immediately pitting. Good call. That's a great call.
Got Wood behind him too.
Corbell coming in. Had that thing out, yawed out on pit entry. Wolsifer coming in. I know Next Level and 6.5 were working together earlier. They're not in the same Discord channel now, but they were talking earlier. I'd imagine strategy was part of that. Let's see. I would imagine this is 4 tires and fuel, certainly for Buzzio, but let's double check. Sure enough, 4 tires. Fritz stays out. Hall's coming in.
Hall's in.
So he will not get a lap lead yet. He's going to have to do it outright on speed.
Oh, Maddox is also in.
Very interesting that Maddox came in. I'm not really sure why he's done that, actually.
Maybe because he caught up and...
Well, actually,
I mean, he
think about it this way. No! Okay. I thought he missed his box. Oh, my gosh. But what he can do here, he can maybe take 2 and less fuel. Is that what he's going to do, or is he going to take 4? He's taking 4. Why?
That's the thing. I mean, I feel like at that point I would have just stayed out. He had more fuel. He had better tires.
Yeah, why did he stay out longer then, earlier? I don't understand that.
I don't know. The only thing I can kind of see is he saw how far back he got last.
Look at Hall. He's ahead of Buzzio. Buzzio's going to have to go low. Big send there. Oh, Wood just ran at the back of Zach Hall. What a save out of car 32, but that's a massive hit to his left rear, and that pulls him off of the 5 car. He's still trying to save it. Holy cow.
What was that? Maddox going to slide ahead of him, too.
That might be the shift, though, that Buzzio needs for this championship.
Yeah, I mean, that's really going to take Hall out of the rhythm that he was in.
And Fritz is well behind these guys, having stayed out. Wow.
Yeah. Jordan White in the lead. We remember him. He was stage 1 winner off of fuel. You were talking about maybe Maddox trying that 2-tire strategy. I think we could see it out of White here.
I think so. I think that's the way to go. If you're on that alt strategy, I think certainly stay out as long as you can now. 2 tires and fuel here in a few laps. Send it. But I want to go back.
Maybe there's a car.
We haven't taken a replay in a while. I think this is fitting to go ahead and do so. Let's go back and see that moment for the 32 car. We're going to go back a little bit further. So he's leaving the pit lane. And coming up to his right, there's Buzzio and Wood. And then down here to turn 3, Woods is going to run right in the left rear of Hall. And look at that drift off into the corner. He was doing some work to hang on to that race car.
Did he like think he was good?
I'm really confused. I mean, he just...
No.
Well, I think I've got a camera where we can see if it's a more straight-on shot and see if maybe Hall was coming down the racetrack a little bit. Let's see it from this angle. This might show us a little better. Because he might have come down in front of Wood. A little. I mean...
Yeah, it wasn't much, but he did.
Maybe just enough to be the overlap that was needed for that contact. I mean, that's...
So close.
That, I think that paints it a lot more incidentally. I don't think that is necessarily intentional from Johnny Wood. Here it is from his point of view, though. He also could be looking at other monitors, trying to figure out strategy, but I mean, he ran plumb in the back of the 32 car. Great driving, though, by Hall to save it. I know we have the Murtis Mega Miss, which isn't exactly a save or anything, but I feel like it applies here, and certainly if you're looking for a driver development program on iRacing, you can hit up Murtis Esports. The Discord link is there at the bottom of the graphic, as we've got a pit stop from one of their associated drivers in Jordan White coming in.
I think we're going to see 2 tires. I think that's the strategy.
I would think so, too. Now, use the fact that you've gone long here to your advantage. You don't have to take as much fuel, although he is still pitting about 2 or 3 laps early.
Yeah.
2 tires. Is he going to take 4?
No.
No.
No, it's 2.
But I think maybe that is why Maddox didn't do this. Look at how much time he still needed for fuel. 12 seconds. So at that point, I think I see now why Maddox did what he did. It was only 2 more seconds for Maddox to take the tires. And now he's on even footing with those guys. I wonder how much Jourdain was actually saving in that run. Because if he had gone 5 more laps, maybe it's a little more worth it to take 2 tires.
Yeah.
Current leader, though, Caden Perkins, as Brendan Maddox has taken over the race lead for what will be the lead anyways. Maddox and Buzzio fighting here. Hall behind them.
Yeah, and you just have to think that if Hall got that point, they'd be tied. And, most likely, I'm going to assume here that the tiebreaker is wins. That would mean that Hall would be the winner.
It's a safe assumption.
I mean,
He's still no laps left for Zach Hall.
He's got to give it everything here.
The setup we have currently, assuming Perkins, well, he will have to pit at some point, so he will end up falling behind these guys. Eventually, Maddox will be the leader, or at least one of these 3 will be. Right now, it would certainly look to be Maddox. So the setup we have is Maddox doing all he can, running up front earlier in stage 1, didn't quite win the stage, unfortunately. Did start on pole, but then it's a straight-up race between the 5 and 32, where the 32 of Hall is going to have to run his tires into the ground in order to catch Adam Buzzio. Yeah. And I think for Buzzio, that's how he might want it. If he's going to have to go head-to-head with Hall, I think you want Hall to be on the offense and to be on the defense, because we know Hall is lights out. We know he's fast. So put him kind of on the back foot, rushing to get back up there, burning his tires up. That feels like an advantage maybe to Adam, but you see, Hall is running him down already, and we still have over 20 to go.
Yes, there's Wood. I believe, is that Wood? No.
That was Bottoms up top.
Oh, yeah. I looked at the graphic and I just got a little confused. But yeah, you see 3.5 tenths to Buzzio. We've got just under 25 laps. Almost 20. He's gonna, yeah. I mean, if he wins this race, he might not even have the tires to burn it down.
Oh, they'll find a way. They'll always have tires to burn it down. Fuel, that's a different story.
He's going to start his burnout and immediately just stall out. .38 that time, so he's losing just a little bit. That's not what you want to see. Gains a lot into the entrance, but loses almost all of it on the exit.
.20 laps to go this next time around. Zach Hall doesn't really have pressure. Fritz is a little ways back. He stayed out longer on that previous set of tires. And of course, you see on the left side of your screen on the ticker, things have cycled out. Perkins is pitted, and Perkins has re-emerged back in 20th spot. Great battle here, though. Coulter Clark, Josh Parent. This is a fight for 7th position currently, with Jourdain White there as well. Why are these battles important? Yep. Well, of course, there's still points positions to figure out, Super, but also, what if we get a caution?
Exactly. And Jourdain's been trying to break as me and him call it, the Super curse. The reason we call it that is because I go by Super, and every time I've been in the booth, he has not had a good race. So far, at least. He won the stage, so it's looking good for the Super curse to be broken this time.
It's looking good for Jourdain as these guys will go by Johnny Wood Jr. Johnny's on 4 tires, so I'm concerned as to why he's falling this far back. I wonder if maybe he just burned him up earlier. He hasn't been out there for that long, but I wonder as well if maybe he did some damage to the car in that contact with Hall. Jourdain through the middle.
Oh, yeah, that's actually now that I think about it, that could be a good point. We could. Oh my God.
That was close. That was really close.
Yeah. Hall, when he had that contact with Johnny Wood Jr., he did slide a little bit. Maybe his tires are, yeah, you know, that could have killed the tires. Maybe he's got some damage.
He's got left rear damage. I don't think that's going to do too much, but I think certainly sliding the tires like that, it's, how much is it going to benefit Buzzio? I don't know. It's not going to hurt Hall that much, I don't think, but added into the things that, you know, the factors working against the 32 car right now is these guys are also in lap traffic. These guys have been green, by the way, since Stage 2 went green. So this has been one of the more green flag races of the season for sure. If you look at the race info here, the CC's Business race stats, there you go. Just the 3 cautions, 1 of those for stage, 2 of them for cause. But in that time, Super, 14 lead changes. That's awesome to see. As we've got 16 laps to go that time by the flag stand.
I mean, all those lead changes, I feel like, you know, a few of them definitely came from pits.
Pit stops, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, we've still seen, you know, some races at least. While we haven't seen, you know, a whole bunch of crazy stuff, it's still been a great race. Had a lot of close battling. I mean, there were many parts that, like, if you would have told me that it was a super speedway race, I might have believed you.
Well, we are officially within 15 laps to go of the end of this race, the Sundance Pizza 250, and the end of this season of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. With that in mind, Super, it's time for the final time this season. The North American Racing League Driver of the Day vote. Who you got?
I got Maddox, Brendan Maddox specifically. I mean, he's done absolutely everything.
Caution is out!
Oh my God.
Everything out the window. Josh Parent, the culprit here. Put that on the back burner. We won't count the pick just yet.
Oh,
this is huge.
Could have saved.
This saves Zach Hall, I think.
Jourdain White. Oh yeah, Jourdain White, Josh Parent.
These 2 were teammates next season. This is the 3rd time in the final 6 races that Jourdain White has led to a spin or crash for the 22 car. And they're teammates next season.
At least he's consistent, building some great chemistry. They keep finding each other on the track.
Yeah, they're certainly going to be used to apologies, at least in one direction. We'll see that from Jordane's perspective
I feel like just sent to move down the inside. Parent had no idea he was going to be down there.
They both at least get away mostly unscathed. Very little damage on those cars, but pit stops are opened up. And Hall has stayed out. That's a lap lead. That's a lap lead for Zach Hall. That's a point in the bank. Now, where's the 5 car? How many tires is he taking? 2 certainly on the car. He's taking 2. He's down and away. He needs to win this race off the pit lane, but he won't. It'll be Maddox out first, then Buzzio. But it's no longer a fight to be first of the line between those two.
Buzzio has to be 2 ahead.
Exactly. Just passing Hall will not be enough. That is really, really interesting. 3 cars stay out. Frankly, I think Hall is toast.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if more drivers would have stayed out, he would have had a chance. But there's just not many drivers that's going to be between him and Buzzio. Maybe if we had like 5 or 6 drivers stay out, I'd say that this could go either way, but I think it's definitely leaning towards Buzzio.
We'll see. With this opportunity, we can go ahead and make our picks, though, for driver of the day. Do you still want to go for the 23 car?
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with him. I mean, he's done everything he can for this race. He's led the second most laps, second to Fritz. He's had a great race. He's done everything he could. Who was that just pulled down to the inside? Is that
like a lap car?
Oh,
yeah, see Perkins down here. He's going to the back. But so you got the 23. Who's your second pick?
Probably gonna have to go with Buzzio. I mean, he has made some great calls. It's just overall he's done almost everything in his power to get this. Obviously, nerves starting to catch up. We got not many laps left. I think that these few final laps could determine a legacy.
I will step aside and let these guys take the restart before I make my driver of the day picks. As we're about to go green here with 11 laps to go. 11 laps to go right here in the season, unless we get some green-white checkers. Restart zone, green flag. Zach Hall on the power. Dyer goes nowhere. It's going to back Adam Buzzio up. Sam Dyer sleeping on the restart, then blocks the 5 into turn 1. Oh, Lucifer! Maddox and Lucifer make contact! The 5 trying to go around. Oh my goodness. Hello, 4 wide back here.
Oh. He's got to get past Fritz here as well. You see him trying around that outside. He's going to try and get a slingshot.
Oh my gosh. Hall's gone. Hall's got nearly a second on these guys. In the wall behind. There goes the 16. Into the wall. Caution is out. That just saved Adam Buzzio this time.
So now it's 1-1 for saving.
Wow.
Wow.
So let's go back here to the restart. Okay. The 32 is teammates with the 35.
Suspicious?
Let's go on board here with the 35. Just sleeping on the restart. I would think they're teammates. They should be in communication. I would have thought that he would have known when to go. I mean, that's really odd.
Yeah, that's odd.
So then you see here, Dyer's going to throw a block on the 5. Which, I mean, that's not nearly as egregious. Dyer throws the block on the 5 there. And then they get going. There you see the contact on the left side of your screen between Maddox and Wolfsford. They save it. Fritz goes down low. And then in all of this towards the back, something happens between Johnny Wood Jr. and Robert Moyer Jr. So the two juniors get into it. Robert in the 16, green numbers, top side of the racetrack with Autumn's above him, and he just drove up into Johnny.
And hard in the wall.
So if there was some kind of coordinated effort between the 32 and 35, it all came unraveled when the 16 got up into the 75 and crashed.
I mean, hey, we can't prove anything.
We can't,
right.
but it's interesting. We know who's teammates, and that's interesting. Well,
I think with a grain of
I said I would make my other 2 picks here, or my 2 picks for driver of the day. I mean, straight up, look at the positions gained. 15 for Richard Wolsifer. I think that is worth it. He has done a fantastic job today of just kind of positioning himself around the business tonight. Hasn't necessarily broken any sound barriers or anything, but he has been in the mix. And here late, he's in it. You know, top 3 coming to this next restart ahead of Buzzio, even ahead of Maddox. And he is on old tires, so that's worth noting.
Yeah.
He did stay out to be in the spot, but hey, we're going to have about 5 laps to go here in a second. He's at least positioning himself to be towards the front when this all breaks down. I don't recall who I nominated last week. I have no clue, but I have a feeling like I might have nominated this guy. But
it was Rafferty. Yeah, you nominated Rafferty.
I'm going to double dip because Rusty Rafferty, kind of out of nowhere, has shown up this season. And look at this. He is up 8 spots going into this restart. He's got fresh tires, at least 2 fresh tires. Watch out. He's the spoiler right now. If Gray Walker was in his spot, I think I'd go for Gray Walker because he'd be up a handful of spots too, and he'd be the closest on tires, but he's not. So I think Rusty Rafferty will be my other nomination here. We'll get that vote live. What you got?
Oh yeah, and if I may, honorable mentions to the 32 and the 48. Fritz has been, I think Fritz might be the guy who's led the most laps. If I'm not mistaken.
That's fair.
I think he still is.
That's fair.
And I mean Fritz, like he's been up there, and I mean Hall, he's done everything. He's currently leading the race. He's done some bold moves. Honorable mention to those 2. I just want to point that out.
I think that's fair. I think it's by a very slim margin that I put the 34 on there and the 56 because. Yes, Hall has kept himself alive here, maybe positioned himself for a championship. We'll see. 6 laps to go for the restart this time. Oh boy, tensions are high. My heart's going pretty quick. Green flag. Everything on the line. 6 laps to go at Miami. Watch that 5 up top. He's got tires. The 48's got tires.
And remember, all right, even if Buzzio can get ahead of Hall, he needs Hall to finish 1 point lower.
There goes Rafferty! Spinning with Barbell. Caution is back out. These cautions are going to help the 32, but it looks like Scott Fritz, no, he's not going to have the lead. These cautions are going to make it impossible to pass Zach Hall.
You might have jinxed Rafferty too. I just want to... It's unfortunate.
It seems that way. And I gotta remind everybody, the driver of the day is not necessarily the driver that has led the most laps, or that is currently leading, or that wins the race. I look at it always as who has made an impact today, who has made a notable impact, and who is, obviously at the time of the vote, at the time of the nominations, putting a race together better maybe than some others. I'm hesitant to go in on Hall because he stayed out. Now, obviously, these restarts are helping him, but at the time of him staying out, it put him at a disadvantage. He can still win it, but he put himself at a disadvantage. It can still work out, but he put himself at a disadvantage. And I at least, when weighing in kind of who I want to nominate, I don't want to put somebody on there that put themselves at a disadvantage. I want to take somebody who's putting themselves at an advantage. Now, admittedly, I did take Wolsifer. The difference there, to me, from Hall to Wolsifer, is Wolsifer was running more like 10th all race. He put himself further spots up. Hall was already in the mix for the lead, and he put himself at the disadvantage. Wolsifer needed to gain spots, so he stayed out to gain that track position and is trying to hang on. Those are different, in my opinion. I mean, frankly, it's humans picking. I know it might not be the perfect system, but it's what we do. So that's at least kind of more of my thought behind why I picked who I picked. I'm not sold yet on this 32. It can still work out for him. He can still win this championship. I'm not sold yet. But I got to say, it's going to be hard to beat him on these restarts.
Yeah, I also I did notice we had a request in the YouTube chat for a points update. So we went into it with Hall 1 point behind Buzzio. They both ended up getting 1 point for leading a lap. And then during stage 1, Zach Hall finished 2 spots ahead of Adam Buzzio. So that means that he is therefore he's 1 point ahead of Buzzio in the championship. And because of that, as you might have heard it earlier, Buzzio has 5 wins. Sorry, no, not Buzzio. Hall has 5 wins to Buzzio's, I believe, 1, right? Is it 1?
Yes, 5 wins for Hall, 1 for Buzzio. So certainly, if it comes to a tiebreaker, I believe it would go to wins, and I believe certainly Hall would have that then if that is the tiebreaker. Hall is going to take the outside. I think that's shooting himself in the foot. The bottom has been fantastic on these restarts. If Fritz is underneath the 32 into turn 1, that's going to be really hard to defend.
Yeah, and so as mentioned previously, Buzzio needs to finish 2 spots ahead of Hall because of,
correct,
again, the tiebreaker.
It's not enough just for Buzzio to pass the 32. He's got to be an extra spot ahead. Just passing him would tie them back up. 2 spots ahead, he would have 1 point. That's, again, our unofficial, very unofficial breakdown of kind of where these guys are at. As you see, a lot of these guys warming the tires up. Coulter Clark throwing the car sideways.
Yeah, I mean, we're just 2 guys in a booth taking our best guess at it.
That's right. Zach Hall has the advantage. This will be a natural green-white checkered, meaning there will be 1 green lap and then 1 white lap. We can pull up the overtime rules, I suppose. If this first green lap is complete, white flag comes out, race it back no matter what happens. We do have 3 attempts if we need them. Here we go. Green flag back in the air, racing one more time at Miami. Great restart. Big hole shot for the 32. Fritz went nowhere down low. Now Maddox underneath the 5 car. That's going to hurt Buzzio big time. Oh, this is Zach's race.
Unless a caution comes out, Zach Hall, I think, is going to be...
He's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Maddox absolutely put a thorn in the side of the 5 car. Here they go, though. Maddox to the inside of the 48. He's going for the win. Buzzio way up top. It'll be a run back to the stripe here. White flag this time by 1 lap to go this season. Brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. 1 final time around at Homestead Miami Speedway. For the championship, Adam Buzzio needs to pass the 32 and put an extra car behind him. I don't think he's going to do it.
Come down. I think it's over. He's in. Unless something happens to Hall here. Maddox.
Crashing in the back. Maddox sends it on Hall. There's Buzzio, high, wide, and handsome. Maddox pushing the 32 up. Maddox is going to grab the win off of turn 4. Buzzio's trying to get there. Zach Hall's going to beat him. I believe Zach Hall is your champion. Congratulations, Brendan Maddox. You've won the Sundance Pizza 250. But I believe it is going to be Zach Hall. We will wait for official word. Wow.
He's getting a push. Getting a push in the back, because also I see Jourdain went around. We couldn't get that chaos in the back. We were too focused on the championship, but yeah, I think if we got it right, which I hope we did, Zach Hall is your champion.
I do believe so. It'll be a celebration certainly for Maddox. I know he wanted this win big time. I know this means a lot to him to get back to victory lane before the season was over, make it 2 on the season. Zach Hall, by the way, is doing burnouts. We are waiting on official word. I don't want to say anything too preemptively.
Yeah, until we get word, we are just two guys in the booth taking our best guess at it. So take us with a grain of salt, just for now.
And Hall will jump out of the car. Buzzio is not doing burnouts. Maddox is celebrating. Let's go back and see what happened there on that last restart. It was chaos behind the leaders. This is cooldown lap already, so we'll go a little further back here. It was out of turn 2 on the white flag lap. I saw the 22 in it there briefly. Everything went wrong for Adam Buzzio there on those final restarts. He had the tires. If it had just been run out with no cautions, I think he had it easy.
Yeah.
Everything went wrong. And there you see the incident for Parent and Moore back there. We'll get one more look at it. There were 3 wide into turn 1, or yeah, turns 1 and 2 anyways. 4 wide even there. They were all just jockeying for position. Parent came up into Dorsey, crashed there, Patinko in it. I mean, it's the last race of the season.
Everyone's just going for every last little bit. It happens.
Adam Buzzio has to watch Zach Hall across the line, 1 position ahead. I want to go back to this restart, though. Here it is, out of turn 1. Fritz went nowhere, caught sleeping. That hurts the 5. Then Buzzio comes up, he leaves the door open for Maddox. And at this point, Maddox put the nail in the coffin. That held the 5 off the bottom lane.
Yeah.
And you need to be on the bottom here for the restart.
And I mean, Maddox doesn't have to do anything.
Oh, certainly not. He's racing for the win.
Yeah.
And he got the win. So, yeah. I mean, move is justified there for Maddox.
Yeah, it's like, don't, Maddox was in every right to do so. It was a great move for him, too. As currently, driver of the day vote is split between Maddox, Buzzio, and Rafferty. All 3 of them are tied.
This is the run back to the finish for Buzzio. I know we're focused on the championship, but what a restart for Brendan Maddox to go from, I believe, 5th to get the win. Here's a look at it for him. Yeah, 5th on the restart. 23 nails it for at least what he can do on the bottom lane. It's underneath the 5. The door was just left open to him. Maddox, I mean, he... Obviously, again, I'm kind of saying he put the nail in the coffin for Buzzio, but he's racing for his own right. He wants the win to cap the season off, and he gets it. Absolutely nailed the restart in that regard.
Yeah.
And even here,
started even before we got to the win.
Oh yeah, these guys were all over. We're waiting on official word still on the championship. It's so close, I don't want to say anything too preemptively. Here, of course, is that dive for Maddox to the bottom of turns 3 and 4. It's down there. Gas is up, feeds Hall the door. It's all fair and square there off of turn number 4. And to the stripe, Brendan Maddox will win at Miami. While we await official word here, we'll go ahead and start talking to these guys in the top 3. And boy, there's going to be emotion. I know that. Let's bring in Brendan Maddox, race winner of tonight's Sundance Pizza at 250. Obviously, that's huge for you, Brendan. I know there was a lot riding on those final few restarts for everybody. But you're able to play that restart perfectly from 5th to 1st. Could you imagine that if we told you you'd win the race come to the green there off of 4?
I mean, yeah, I could have believed you because I knew the speed that I had tonight. I really don't know, to be honest with you, where it came from. I just kind of, before the race started, just decided to, lock in a little bit. I made my mistakes earlier in the season and at Watkins Glen, and, all I can think right now is, hey, what could have been if I didn't screw up there, But, I was impressed by my own speed in the first stage. And I think had I had a different strategy, maybe it would have been a little bit closer. I don't know what the settings ended up like here, but I knew. So did we have 3 restarts there at the end, or was it 2? I don't know. On that first one, I shot it on a gap on Richard, and I don't think the gap was really there. So my Carson Hocevar did a little bit. He nearly wrecked, and then it was just stuff happened behind us. And man, I tell you what, I was constantly telling the team during this week, I said, I could not have picked a worse track to have this shot at a championship with, because I said is one of my worst tracks. And, man, I just come out and I play it like a fiddle, I guess. I don't know. There's other things I want to say there, but to be honest, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Dustin, I got to give a huge shout out to him there. I was going to take 4 whenever I came in. He told me to take 2, and that gave me the little bit of extra rotation I needed in those corners, and to get around Scott and then to get around Hall there at the last corner. By the way, I just happened to tune into the broadcast right as we were coming down the backstretch and into turn 3 and 4. That freaking camera angle, man. that was awesome.
Definitely sold the shot there. And 23, of course, able to grab the win. This is now 2 on the season. I know it was a long time between the wins, but this has to be everything you wanted out of this race. Obviously, you can only control so much, but controlling your own destiny, grabbing the win, getting the pole, 60 laps led, it's got to feel good to go into next season with this as the most recent race.
Yeah, 100%. I forgot I snagged my first career pole. Only took 5 seasons. Again, I was shocked by that. So, I think that's when it really, kind of entered the back of my mind. You know how it is, enters the back of your mind that, hey, maybe I can do this tonight. But you try not to psych yourself out or anything like that. So, yeah, I got to just, again, huge shout out to Dustin. He got crashed out early there. I don't even know what happened to him. But he hopped in she stayed in the chat, and he just played strategist with us. And, he made that call to pit whenever that caution came out a few laps into stage 2. And then, that got me, I guess, a little bit off cycle until I caught up to the guys and I pitted with them again. So I think had it not been for that, I don't know where maybe my speed would have been. But, man, I would have liked to see it play out from that run too. Where is that going to play out with Adam and Hall and me up there? I don't know. So,
well, it sounds like we are getting some official word. We'll get to that in a second, but hey, congratulations, Brendan. Don't want the championship stuff to overshadow the fact that you just went out there and put everything on the line there for the last couple of restarts. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Brendan Maddox with a big win here this evening at Miami. And Super, we're starting to receive some official word on who exactly is going to win the championship. And yes, it will be Zach Hall. Just as we thought with the math, just as we thought we had it figured out, Zach Hall will be this season's champion this evening in car number 32. There you have it.
By 2 points.
2 points.
Over Adam Buzzio.
Maddox was just 5
back. Points. Yeah. Yeah, he had a great race. He brought himself back into contention. 5 points back.
So let's bring in...
After he was...
Let's bring in this season's champion, Zach Hall. It was a wild race, Zach. I'm still trying to figure everything out. Those last restarts, you getting hit there to turn 3, the pit strategy all night long. Can you even begin to wrap your mind around it?
No, that is a range of emotions I couldn't expect. Wow, it's a bittersweet way to win. I'm super excited to win the championship, but I know those yellows kind of bailed me out, so that it's tough. But it is racing and stuff. But man, it was a night that was not easy. I can tell you how much. I felt like I had so much pace. I just didn't have a lot of friends, I think, tonight. So, and I understand that. I mean, I'm the new guy here, so it's normal to, kind of root for the long time guys. I mean, which I was rooting for Adam too. He's such a good dude, and he races so clean. He raced me all night perfectly, and couldn't ask for a better race with him. So, man, I definitely got lucky. But sometimes I guess lucky is better than good. So I'll take it here tonight, but just gotta go back and unwind after that, because I still don't even really know how it all worked out like that.
And it ends up working out by 2 points to put you above Adam Buzzio. We were keeping unofficial track of everything all night long. You got the stage points. Those were the 2 points. Those were the 2 points needed. Obviously, the point there at the end, still beating him to the line, was big as well, but it was those 2 points at the stage that kind of set you guys apart from the get-go. I mean, I don't even know how to wrap my head around it. I'm trying to formulate questions, and I know you've been in this seat before yourself. I don't even know what to ask you. I guess let's go back to that last green flag pit stop. Or no, the first caution after that green flag run. Right, you stay out. Old tires. Only 3 of you guys stay out. Were you hoping for more to stay out? What was the goal there?
Yeah, I was hoping more took tires under that stage, because I took the 2 tires under the stage. I just got in such a bad run that first stage that I knew, like, if I didn't take those tires, I wouldn't be able to have an opportunity to get probably by Adam there, and I knew I needed to gain some type of points there. And I knew it would hurt me for if this scenario played out, but I just got lucky again with the yellows. I mean, if we go more than 5 laps green there, I don't know if I can hang on, because it's just the tires were that worn out. When I took the white flag, or sorry, going back to your question anyways about the first restart, the biggest thing was just trying to get away, and I did get away on that one, of course, and then they had the big wreck. The next one, I got lucky again, I can say it, because Fritz was ahead of me, I felt like, when the yellow came out, and it gave it back to me. So, again, it's sometimes that's how it plays out here in iRacing, man, but I really can't fathom how I got it was the second to last lap that I think really won me the thing, because that second to last lap taking the white flag was just such a good up the speed lap that it gave me the opportunity to where I knew on the back straightaway they were going to be catching me going to my inside. I just knew in my mind from those stage points, kind of calculated in my head. I was like, if I just stay ahead of Adam, I think I at least win out. We might tie, or I don't know how the tiebreakers work, but I feel like it would at least play out in my favor. So luckily it did, but man, I can't believe this season. This was a wild chase run for myself. I can say that much.
And of course, season 6 right around the corner. Do you anticipate returning and giving us a shot to go back to back?
It's still up in the air for me. I'm hoping most likely it's going to be part-time. I don't think I'm going to be able to make every Tuesday nights. Luckily, my schedule kind of like aligned perfectly with some of the other leagues that I race in. So this was a perfect opportunity to kind of come in here and race with Robert and them. But I've had such a fun time here too, also racing that, it would not be be in my personal interest to stay here, at least, do some races next season. Maybe not get the full campaign underneath my belt and not go fight for a championship again, but have those few select races that maybe my schedule opens up and the track is kind of in the realm of what I like to run. So it is it's definitely a huge possibility. I got some decision making to do, but I am super happy if this is my only season. I do definitely want to give a huge shout out to like the admins here who run everything, Race Control Rev, Adam, all the guys who make this happen. They've been nothing but a pleasure to me. Like, they've been so welcoming. They let me come in there in week 5 and allowed us guys to join them. So I got to really shout them out and for allowing that all that happen and getting this opportunity, because it definitely has been a great time, and I'm proud to say I'm the champion.
We'll put together some graphics for each of the 5 main contenders just in case it's on screen. Does that make it feel a little more real?
Yeah, seeing that, it definitely does. It kind of, when I saw that, I was like, wow, I am the champion. Like, I mean, I did the burnouts there because my math in my head was like, I think this is right. That would have been kind of dumb if I got the math wrong, and then I would have looked like a dummy. But yeah, it's starting to feel more and more real, because I think the biggest reason it kind of is like take a long time to sink in for me right now is because of how it just played out with those yellows stop and start and not knowing, what was all going to play out with that little bit of damage, because I think that didn't even help my straightaway speed either. So it was a nerve-wracking night. I'm just gonna go to bed. I think it were for relief, and I think tomorrow maybe the final realization of everything that played out in the whole season that I had. Because looking back, that's the big thing I really want to look back. Even if I didn't win this championship, the season I had, I'm very, very proud of. It was a really good run, especially after that 31st place finish, or 31 points back after Michigan. That was a huge huge hole to dig out of, and I'm very, very lucky to be in this opportunity. So again, thank you to everybody who put me here, and my teammates also. They kept me really, really in the game there on those restarts.
Congratulations, Zach. It's a championship. Well done for you, and you're in the books now. Champion here of Season 5. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. And also shout out to y'all. Awesome broadcasting.
Appreciate it. That is Zachary Hall winning this season's BRB Sundance Pro Championship. I am still floored by it, super honestly. I did not expect to be running this particular graphic. At least back earlier in the season. Obviously coming in just 1 point back and all the momentum on his side, leading the power rankings. Sure, I can say I expected that, but go back to middle of the winter, I did not expect this outcome of the championship at all. And congratulations certainly to the Freaky Fast folks and to Zach Hall for getting it done. That said, we are going to bring you, second place finisher Scott Fritz. Was also in the chase, came up short though of the win here tonight.
Hey Scott, great race today. How do you feel about coming home in second?
Yeah, it feels good. Finally have a good race in the chase. It just seems like their second half of the regular season just kind of bad luck starts setting in, and we're able to almost win the regular season championship, and then the chase has just been bad luck after bad luck from the start, and finally had a good race. We're able to pull some strategy to end up second at the stage, saving fuel, and then thought we were gonna get us one tonight. That caution kind of saved us there at the end, and then the last caution ended up hurting us. We were side by side with Zach going into 3, and the caution came out again and ended up hurting us, but we're still able to come home second.
Yeah, and I'm gonna steal a question here. How do you feel about season 6 coming up? What do you foresee in the future?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously I'm moving over to 6-5 with Richard and Johnny, so it's gonna be good to have some teammates, and Johnny and Richard are both really consistent, really fast. Johnny's always up front contending for wins, so it's gonna be good to go try and win the team championship as well as battle for the regular the series championship. I really like the schedule next season. Obviously I'm not a big road course guy, but there's an extra road course next year, which isn't too bad, but it's more driver tracks I think next year, a lot more short tracks, which is kind of more my wheelhouse, especially these cars. It seems with the mile and a half, it's almost you're kind of all bunched up, can't really get away and stuff like that. So the mile and a halves are they're all right. But the driver tracks like Darlington and New Hampshire, Martinsville is especially one I got circled. I really love that track. I'm really good there, so really excited for next season.
Yeah, and says here you got 4th in the overall standings. Do you feel like that was the result you expected to get coming into the day?
Not really. I figured the bad luck would just continue and we'd end up 6th wherever we were. Obviously it's not what we wanted. We came in like -4 to the lead at the start of the chase, obviously with leading the regular season points most of the season, but and then it just kind of was a little bit downhill from there. But it's good to finally have us a good race tonight and carry some momentum and hopefully start next season off strong.
Well, congratulations on your race and your spot in the standings. I know that from the limited time I was here, I enjoyed watching you race.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Scott Fritz, a whole bunch of laps led tonight. Always in contention this evening. Comes up a little short of the win, but Scott, good to check in with you one more time, and best of luck in Season 6.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thank you guys always for doing this and putting this on.
Absolutely glad to be here as Scott Fritz grabs himself a second place effort here at Miami, and that does it as far as on track activities this season, Super. I still just cannot quite believe everything that played out tonight. And look at this graphic coming up. Let's run it again. There it is. Zach Hall is your champion. Can you believe it? I mean, I know you were only here for a portion of the season, but man, it did not seem like, even going into Phoenix last week, that this was the most likely outcome. Yet here we are.
I mean, yeah. As you mentioned, haven't been here for too long. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, I'll get invited back next season. But I mean, everything was, I feel like, just from what I personally saw, every race was fantastic. Every race was a thriller. I certainly enjoyed it. I feel like, all the drivers enjoyed it. Even Adam Buzzio, he finished second. He's probably upset, but I think he still had tons of fun throughout the season. I feel like every driver here can hold their head high and say, I had a good season.
Yeah, it was a season well done, certainly, for each of the contenders that were really in it tonight. Zach Hall, of course, he came in, at Charlotte. So let's here's the schedule graphic. He joined the league back at Charlotte, race number 5, and was able to just put the season together to make the chase by a couple of spots. By the end of Atlanta, did a great job. I think he won 3 regular season races, 2 chase races. He did what he had to do. He did everything right. Won the championship. I know there's going to be feelings about the fact that he joined the season late. I certainly get that. It's reminiscent of 2025 with the NASCAR Cup Series and Kyle Busch missing a handful of races. But if it's written in the league rules and it's allowed by the league rules, hey, it's allowable, right? It's part of it. It's part of the game.
Yeah. Also, it is 15. I believe you misspoke and said 25.
Did I? 25?
I think you might have. But it's fine either way. I think everyone gets the point. Right? I mean, still a great season. I feel like the fact that he joined late adds more to what he did to this season than anything.
He was able to get it done. That's... I know. I'm pretty sure I said 2015. I might have said 2025. No, I just clicked what you said. Regardless, it's reminiscent of Kyle Busch in 2015. There we go. It's fair and square. League rules, give him the championship. That's really all that matters. And there you go. Celebrating. Let's run the graphic one more time. Give him his moment to shine here. Zach Hall, season 5 champion. And so, of course, looking ahead to season number 6, and I know it's still early to do so. The season will open up at Daytona in April. 3 races in the month of April there: Daytona, Dover, New Hampshire, Mexico City for the first road course, then a second road course there at Daytona. So 2 trips to Daytona this coming season, and then a trip to Sonoma later on. Those are the 3 road courses that Scott Fritz was talking about, and a whole bunch of great tracks mixed in there as well. An international trip, even 2 international trips technically, with Mexico City and Motegi. But we'll be leaving the continent once and heading out to Japan. That'll be a lot of fun. So a lot to look forward to for Season 6 of the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Stay tuned for everything on that. As far as what we have to wrap up here, Super, a big thank you, certainly, to the series partners, Sundance Pizza, namely. Of course, this was the Sundance Pizza 250. Of course, a big thank you to Ascendance Trucks, Idealease, KC Athletics, Rev Sim Shop, Performance Food Group, Whiplash SimCam, CC's Business, and MXWraps.com. And a big thank you as well to our partners. There we go. Whiplash SimCams, MX Wraps, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. We have concluded today's Driver of the Day vote. And while he may not have won the championship here this evening, I go back a little bit here in the replay and find him. Adam Buzzio will be today's North American Racing League Driver of the Day. And truly, I believe, if that first restart late in the race there went green, I truly believe he had this one, at least for the championship. Maybe not the race, but man, we could go back and forth on what ifs forever. He ends up just shy, 2 points shy, with a whole lot to build on for season number 6, and I'm sure he'll be back better than ever when these guys unload at Daytona in April. As far as what's upcoming for us here at the channel, next up will be a trip out to, well, Mexico City, as we get set for the AM drivers in the North American Racing League at Mexico City. That'll include a handful of the drivers here from the BRB Sundance Pro Series racing in GT3 cars this Thursday evening. And then Sunday morning, just after time change, it's going to be brutal. We head out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the All-American Racing Network. That'll be the 5th race of their 36-race season. I'm excited for that. Going to be an early morning. Definitely going to need an extra pot of coffee or two. And should be exciting, that's for sure, with Next Gen Cup cars there at Las Vegas. And then Monday, just under a week away, we've got the Nora Retro Cup Series going to Martinsville Speedway. That'll be a lot of fun. 2003 NASCAR Cup cars at Martinsville. The Paperclip, going to be a blast for sure. And of course, a bunch of great places to follow along with everything Pit Stop TV. You see them there at the bottom of your screen. Most notably, YouTube. That's the best place to watch Pit Stop TV, but you can also watch on Facebook and Twitch. You can follow along on the platforms down below. Supra, I know it was kind of a last-second call to have you in for full commentary these last couple of races. I know you kind of subbed in a little bit here and there in the pre-race show to kind of test the waters. But with this season now behind you and behind all of us, what do you make of your time here with the BRB Sundance Pro Series on Tuesday nights?
I mean, I've had a lot of fun doing this. I love all forms of racing. I try to consume as much racing content as I can, and you know, I've always kind of wanted to be a commentator, right? So I had plenty of fun. I know I probably wasn't the best commentator, but I really enjoyed the moments that I had, and all of it was really fun. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of that.
It was good to have you. I know, again, this kind of came together a little bit out of necessity, and it was all, trying to find the right place for you to get in here, but I think you did fantastic, and I think the fans watching will agree with that. But it's been a lot of fun this season in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Thanks so much for joining us. I've enjoyed Season 5, Season 6, just around the corner. Make sure to keep up to date with everything BRB coming up very soon. That'll do it for us this evening and this season in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you all next time, hopefully this Thursday evening, 2 days away, for the North American Racing League GT3 AM drivers heading out to Mexico City. We'll see you then.